Chapter 87. Lin Xian retracted his hand and said, "Let's go back." "How should I thank you?" Lu Yufan looked up at Lin Xian. "Thank me?" "Nah." Lin Xian moved his face closer. "Give me a kiss as a thank you." "Go to hell." Lu Yufan blushed and cursed before pulling Yi Yi away. Lin Xian looked at their backs and shook his head inwardly. He looked at the time. He couldn't be bothered to stay at the academy any longer. There seemed to be a lot of things to do recently, so he left the academy and took a taxi to the Bounty Hunter Guild. This was the second time Lin Xian came to the Bounty Hunter Guild. Regardless of the time, there were too many people in the hall and outside. It was like a public square. Lin Xian pushed the door open as soon as he arrived at the Gale Mercenary Guild. "Welcome to the Gale Mercenaries." It was Wang Qianqian's sweet voice again. "Hi, two big sisters." Lin Xian greeted them sweetly. Miao Xiaomiao, who was sitting at the side and operating a computer, turned her head immediately. "What are you doing here?" Miao Xiaomiao glared at Lin Xian. Even so, she was quite happy. She didn't know why she would sometimes think of Lin Xian. There were only two people in the Gale Mercenaries Cafe, Wang Qianqian and Miao Xiaomiao. "What am I doing here?" "I'm here to spank you." Lin Xian raised his hand as he spoke. Wang Qianqian's mouth opened slightly when she heard Lin Xian's words. This was the first time she had seen someone speak to Miao Xiaomiao like that. More importantly, Miao Xiaomiao didn't go berserk. But then again, she knew that Lin Xian had saved everyone in Deep Han Valley. Miao Xiaomiao's actions weren't strange at all. "Don't you dare." Miao Xiaomiao glared cutely at Lin Xian again. "You guys chat. I'll pour Lin Xian a cup of coffee. Do you want sugar?" Wang Qianqian asked with a smile. "Let me do it." Miao Xiaomiao snatched the cup from Wang Qianqian's hand. "Oh, you made coffee for me?" Lin Xian raised an eyebrow. "Hee. Miao Xiaomiao smiled sweetly. "Of course, my skills are also very good. After all, you're a guest and also our friend. As the leader of the Wind Mercenaries, of course I have the obligation to make you a cup of coffee." Wang Qianqian didn't know what to do. She just winked at Lin Xian. When Lin Xian saw Wang Qianqian's expression, he suddenly remembered what Chu Meng had said before. The last time someone disrespected Wang Qianqian, he had put knockout powder in that person's coffee. When Lin Xian saw Miao Xiaomiao's abnormal behavior, he felt that something was definitely wrong. "Little girl, you're not even as tall as the workbench, yet you're learning how to make coffee. I want little Qianqian to make coffee for me. Get away." Miao Xiaomiao. Ding. Detected Miao Xiaomiao's resentment. Scumbag value plus 10,000. "You're not allowed to call big sister Qianqian that." Miao Xiaomiao snorted. "What do you mean by that?" Lin Xian said. Miao Xiaomiao tried hard to control her urge to hit him. Too infuriating. Wang Qianqian smiled. "It doesn't matter. Friends can call each other however they want." "Then can I call you darling?" Lin Xian looked at Wang Qianqian and grinned. I'll go make coffee for you." Then Wang Qianqian walked away. Miao Xiaomiao walked in front of Lin Xian and snorted arrogantly. "Did you come here to fight?" Lin Xian nodded. "Of course. I'm still waiting for you to call me big brother." Miao Xiaomiao pouted. "Let's go. I'll beat you until you cry." "You're probably saying the opposite," Wang Qianqian said. "Don't rush. Have a cup of coffee first. Grandpa will be here soon." Hearing Wang Qianqian's words, Miao Xiaomiao nodded. "Okay then." Then she glanced at Lin Xian. "I'll let you show off for a while longer." Then they sat at a table. Lin Xian leaned over to look at Miao Xiaomiao's computer. He realized that he couldn't understand anything at all. "What are you doing?" Miao Xiaomiao said proudly. "Programming." "Programming? What for?" Wang Qianqian placed the coffee in front of Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao. Then she sat beside them and smiled. "Lin Xian, you don't know. Many of the things in our Wind Mercenary group were actually made by Xiaomiao. For example, many of the programs on the computer. Even some of the small inventions you guys brought out before were designed by her and made by her." Lin Xian's mouth gaped open. Damn! This Miao Xiaomiao was unbelievable. Lin Xian thought that those things were technology that had already been developed by others, and that they had bought them to use. Seeing Lin Xian's expression, Meow Xiaomiao felt especially good. What? Are you sincerely impressed by me now? Impressed. But no matter how impressed I am, you still have to call me big brother. Meow Xiaomiao gritted her teeth cutely. We'll talk about it after you win. Wang Qianqian smiled. For example, the wide-range infrared detection software that everyone uses was invented by Xiaomiao. Then it was popularized outside, and was even patented for tens of millions. This little girl was indeed not ordinary. Then invent something for me, Lin Xian said with a smile. What is it? It's the kind of spray that makes a girl follow you and let you do whatever you want. Meow Xiaomiao. Wang Qianqian. Hooligan. Bah. I want to invent a spray that makes you like men. Lin Xian. Wang Qianqian held back her laughter. Cough cough, is everyone here? Lin Xian changed the topic. Everyone went to rest. Everyone is more or less injured. Also, the mission was completed well, so there's no need to go out for missions for now. As Meow Xiaomiao spoke, she suddenly thought of something, and took out a card from her cute little bag that was about the size of a palm, and placed it in front of Lin Xian. This is yours. The password is 100,200. This was the bonus that they had promised Lin Xian. Lin Xian accepted it without hesitation and asked, how much? 400,000. That much? Lin Xian gaped. It's okay. We earned 2 million from this mission, Meow Xiaomiao said. But you gave me 400,000 out of the 1,200,000. If we split the 800,000, everyone would only get a few 100,000 each. Everyone risked their lives for this. I can't take so much. Lin Xian said. Meow Xiaomiao looked at Lin Xian and said, but if it wasn't for you, everyone would be dead. So just take it. Then okay. 400,000. Actually, it wasn't much in this society, but 400,000 was still a huge sum for normal people. Just then, an old man opened the door and walked in. Grandpa, Meow Xiaomiao called out sweetly. This was the first time Lin Xian heard her voice so sweet. Chapter 88. Miao Jinghao nodded. Then he looked at Lin Xian and smiled. You're here. Yeah, I just came. I talked to little Meow and the rest. Miao Jinghao sat beside Lin Xian and patted Lin Xian's shoulder. Lin Xian, I haven't had the chance to thank you for saving everyone and little Meow. It's nothing. You're welcome. Miao Jinghao shook his head. That's different. Little Meow is the only descendant of the Meow family. Her parents are very busy. Even when this happened, they only called to ask about it. They can't even come. If something happens to little Meow, we really don't know what to do. So I went out to do something just now, and brought you something. Although it's insignificant compared to everyone's lives. I hope you can accept it. As he spoke, a secret manual appeared in Miao Jinghao's hand, and he placed it in front of Lin Xian. This is... Lin Xian opened it and glanced at it. It was a martial arts manual. On planet Aqua Blue, there were 2 ways to cultivate martial techniques. The first method was the vast majority of martial techniques. That was to directly imbue the martial technique into the martial artist's mind with the power of technology. Then the martial artist would naturally be able to use the martial technique. For example, the martial techniques cultivated by the Sky Martial Court students were the same. Another example would be the 5 lightning constellation that was given to Lin Xian by the scumbag system, and the 5 elemental arts that were rewarded after completing the mission. The second way was to learn. It was like reading a book. Once one completely understood how to use the martial arts, they would naturally be able to use it. The first way was convenient, while the second way was solid. The first way was easy to use. If one couldn't understand the second way, it meant that they wouldn't be able to use it. The advantage was naturally the second type. When you completely comprehended the martial technique, and then released it, it would be easier to use and more powerful. For example, if a martial arts manual was instilled directly, the damage would increase by 100%. However, if one learned it bit by bit, the damage would increase by 150%. That was roughly how it worked. However, the second way was actually quite rare. Therefore, more people chose the former. As for the latter, Only those martial arts techniques that had been passed down in their families would be cultivated this way. Miao Jinghao took the coffee that Wang Qianqian poured for him, and said with a smile, I heard from little Miao that you're a lightning-type martial artist, so I asked an old friend for this martial arts book. Lin Xian flipped to the next page and froze. The martial skill's name was Heavenly Thunder Flash, and its grade was Earth Stage 5 stars. Earth Tier Martial Skill. This left Lin Xian flabbergasted. In his impression, other than the three major powers, only the great clans in Tianhua City would have Earth Tier martial skills. Furthermore, a great clan would basically only have one Earth Tier martial skill, which would be passed down from generation to generation, and would never be revealed to outsiders. This was enough to show the rarity of Earth Tier martial skills. But today, Miao Jinghao had given him an Earth rank martial skill, and a 5-star one at that. How could this not shock Lin Xian? Was the Miao family a very powerful family? Lin Xian did not know. But if that was the case, why would they still be running a mercenary group? Heavenly Thunder Flash is a lightning-type long-range martial skill. It can condense the power of lightning, and then release it through the circulation of the martial skill. If you fully comprehend it, it can triple the power. Miao Jinghao took a sip of coffee, and said to Lin Xian, Isn't this too valuable? To be honest, Lin Xian was very tempted. A lightning-type long-range martial skill. He could release the power of lightning to achieve the effect of a long-range attack. But the distance was limited. Furthermore, that was only the power of lightning. If the damage was 1, but if he released the Heavenly Thunder Flash, the damage would be 3. This was a completely different concept. A martial skill was a martial skill after all. If it was not strong, why would people worship it? Miao Jinghao laughed heartily and said, Compared to little Miao and everyone's lives, this is nothing, so just accept it. Then, I won't be pretentious. Lin Xian chuckled, and put away the Heavenly Thunder Flash martial skill. Ha ha ha. Miao Jinghao laughed, then said to Lin Xian, From now on, you are a member of the Blast Mercenary Group. Everyone is a family, so don't hide anything. Tell everyone. If I can help, I will do my best. Thank you, Elder Miao. I heard that you and little Miao are going to PK. Miao Jinghao asked. Lin Xian nodded. There is such a thing. Just in time. I have already made arrangements for the battle stage over there. I can watch the two of you fight. You can also educate little Miao. Grandpa, what do you mean by educating me? I should be the one educating him. Miao Xiao said indignantly. Ha ha ha. Then Lin Xian, you can try it with little Miao. Okay. Lin Xian then stood up and finished his coffee in one gulp. Miao Xiao followed suit and took a big gulp. She could not lose to him. Let's go. Miao Jinghao then led them out of the coffee shop. He wanted to see how Lin Xian was doing. Miao Jinghao had an idea of his own. The battle stage was actually inside the Bounty Hunter Guild. It was located on the 23rd floor. The entire floor was the battle stage, and the surrounding area was filled with spectators. Because of this, the 23rd floor was empty. There was no one there. Some people were just passing by to go to the higher floors. However, the higher floors were not accessible to ordinary people. I heard that the Bounty Hunter Guild requires special personnel to enter the 15th floor and above, Lin Xian said in surprise. This Miao Jinghao did not seem to be ordinary. No, perhaps the Miao family was not ordinary. Lin Xian knew too little. He would have to ask the Miao family later. Miao Jinghao smiled. Yes, I'm friends with the people here. So, it's not a problem for me to temporarily borrow the battle stage. So that's how it is. In any case, Lin Xian maintained his skeptical attitude. They opened the door and saw the battle stage. It was a huge battle stage that was about 1,000 square meters in size. The battle stage was only so big. There should be enough space for a few thousand people to watch. This was the first floor of the Bounty Hunter Guild. The entire place was a battle stage. Although it was many times smaller than a real battle stage, it was quite exaggerated for an indoor battle stage. Wang Qianqian had also arrived. The coffee shop was temporarily closed. Miao Jinghao looked at Lin Xian and Miao Xiao and said, Don't go too far. Remember, don't use spiritual weapons. It's too easy to hurt your opponent. Also, you're at the same level. Control your strength well. It's easy to hurt your opponent. Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao nodded. Miao Jinghao then said, the battle stage is divided into 2 areas. You two will fight in the inner area. Whoever is kicked out of the inner area loses. How does that sound? Okay, then let's PK. Miao Xiaomiao said excitedly. She could not wait to beat up Lin Xian. Chapter 89. Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao walked into the arena and stood in the inner area. The inner area was not big, only about 300 square meters. After all, if the entire arena was their battle area, it would be too big, and they would have to fight at a higher level. Let me make this clear. Don't cry when I beat you up. Lin Xian looked at Miao Xiaomiao and said, Tisk, I'll make this clear too. Don't cry when I beat you up. Miao Xiaomiao did not back down. Come on then. Both of their auras exploded at the same time. Lin Xian was currently at the Arcane Body Stage 1 star, but it was naturally unfair to fight Miao Xiaomiao with the strength of the Arcane Body Stage. Therefore, even if he lost, Lin Xian would at most display the strength of 10 stars of the Spirit Focus Stage. Both of their auras surged. Their hair and clothes danced wildly under their auras. The arena was filled with sand. Just their auras alone were enough to sweep up the sand around them. Swoosh swoosh. In the next moment, both of them moved at the same time and rushed towards each other. They did not use any martial arts techniques or elemental powers. They were purely using close combat to test each other's combat abilities. Miao Xiaomiao may be short, but her attacks were surprisingly sharp. Lin Xian had seen Miao Xiaomiao fight in the Deep Han Valley before, but she was limited to martial arts techniques and elemental powers. Wang Ba and the others were the ones fighting the beasts. Miao Xiaomiao was only responsible for watching and protecting everyone. So this was the first time Lin Xian saw Miao Xiaomiao's true combat ability. She was very strong, so strong that it was beyond Lin Xian's imagination. Lin Xian did not even know that this little girl had lived for more than 10 years. She knew everything, her level was high, and her combat ability was so strong. Moreover, the sharpness of her attacks was like that of a real martial artist who roamed the beasts every day. It was not an exaggeration to say that Lin Xian felt that the sharpness of Miao Xiaomiao's attacks was not much worse than Ling Ying's. Was this possible? It was too shocking. Miao Jinghao and Wang Qianqian stood on high ground and watched the battle. Both of their attacks were extremely fast, and neither of them gave the other a chance to breathe. It was as if whoever took a second to catch their breath would be defeated. Grandpa Miao, who do you think will win? Wang Qianqian asked curiously. Watching the battle, Miao Jinghao chuckled. If he doesn't use his martial arts techniques, Lin Xian is still better than Little Miao. Little Miao accepted his inheritance, but she still can't beat Lin Xian? Wang Qianqian revealed a surprised expression. Miao Jinghao nodded. After all, Little Miao hasn't fought as many times as Wang Ba and the others, but I'm already very satisfied with this level. As for Lin Xian, Miao Jinghao looked at the battle on the field and muttered, very unusual. This is definitely not a young man who can be trained in the academy. Furthermore, his fist techniques and body movements are all things that I have never seen before. This young man is very unique. When the time comes and we see how he develops, perhaps he can. Miao Jinghao did not finish his sentence. Grandpa Miao, are you saying that Lin Xian often trains himself in the demonic beast domain? Miao Jinghao nodded. Perhaps. His combat ability is very strong, and it's not some mediocre martial arts. This must be the result of years of battle training. That's why I have high hopes for this young man. Then Lin Xian will definitely win this round. Miao Jinghao shook his head. Not necessarily. If Little Miao doesn't use her martial arts techniques, she probably won't be Lin Xian's opponent. But if she uses her martial arts techniques, Little Miao has a higher chance of winning. Let's continue watching. Miao Jinghao was very clear about his granddaughter's abilities. Miao Xiaomiao did not boast. She was able to easily defeat a Spirit Focus Realm cultivator when she was only a 9-star. That was not a boast, but a fact. Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao had been exchanging punches and kicks, but until now, neither of them had actually managed to land a hit on the other. Both Miao Xiaomiao and Lin Xian were very surprised. However, Lin Xian was still a level higher. He took advantage of Miao Xiaomiao's leap and kicked to twist his body. The two of them brushed past each other. And at the same time, Lin Xian reached out his hand. Slap. The crisp sound traveled quite far. This Lin Xian. Little Miao is still a child, and he actually... Wang Qianqian's pretty face was filled with shame and anger. He actually hit Miao Xiaomiao's butt. Miao Jinghao did not get angry because of this. Instead, he revealed a hearty smile, as if he was watching a good show. Ha ha ha, they're from the younger generation after all. Let them play however they want. However, little Miao has lost completely in this move. If Lin Xian had been willing just now, little Miao would have died in a real battle. Miao Jinghao's face became serious again as he said, in a battle, one of the biggest taboos is to be in the air. Sometimes it can be very effective, but most of the time, when the body is in the air, it has the most flaws. Lin Xian did this very well. Little Miao's battle experience is still not as good as his. At this moment, Miao Xiaomiao landed on the ground and felt a burning pain in her butt. Her little face was so red that it looked like it was about to bleed. She was embarrassed and angry. Miao Xiaomiao pointed at Lin Xian. You. After a few seconds, she could only say you. I what? Lin Xian felt that he had used too much strength just now. Even his palm was a bit sore. So what about Miao Xiaomiao's butt? Ding. Successfully hit Miao Xiaomiao's butt. Scumbag man value plus 500000. Ding. Felt Miao Xiaomiao's embarrassment. Scumbag man value plus 20,000. Ding. Felt Miao Xiaomiao's anger. Scumbag man value plus 10,000. Ding. Miao Xiaomiao's favorability towards you minus 10. Ding. Miao Xiaomiao's favorability towards you plus 10. Lin Xian. In an instant his scumbag man value increased by more than 500,000. But to Lin Xian right now, 500,000 was really not enough. Even 5 million was a small number. But, what the hell was this? How did her favorability increase back after decreasing by 10? This was why it was said that a woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the sea. Who would know what they were thinking? Just you wait. Just you wait. Wind exploded around Miao Xiaomiao's delicate body. Hey. Don't blow so hard. This is a sand arena, there's a lot of dust. Lin Xian looked at the dust in front of him, and his mouth was wide open. Why did they have to fight in a dusty arena? Once the wind element was released, it was like a sandstorm. That's right, at this moment, Lin Xian could not see Miao Xiaomiao's figure clearly. The wind element exploded and dust filled the air. But the visual effect of this scene made Lin Xian feel that Miao Xiaomiao was very powerful. Whirlwind scattered clouds. Miao Xiaomiao's delicate shout came from the front. Then Lin Xian felt a gust of wind blowing towards him. Every gust of wind was as sharp as a sword's aura. It was very strong. In terms of killing power, it was much stronger than Ling Ying's move. This is probably close to the power of an Earth rank skill. An Earth rank skill was very strong. It could also be seen that Miao Xiaomiao was a little angry after being hit by Lin Xian. Chapter 90. Exchange Attribute Defense. Lin Xian did not hesitate to use 50,000 scumbag points to exchange for a double defense attribute. Previously, Lin Xian might not have been willing to use 50,000 scumbag points. But now, after hitting this girl's butt, he had 500,000 scumbag points. So, it was actually relatively easy to obtain scumbag points. Lin Xian did not cherish it too much. Then, Lin Xian released his aura to block Miao Xiaomiao's attack. Although his defensive aura seemed to be at the spirit condensation realm, it was still at the spirit condensation realm. However, with the double defense from the system, his defensive power also doubled. Not only did Lin Xian's physical strength temporarily double, but his physical strength also doubled. Oh, Xiaomiao's whirlwind is an Earth rank 1-star skill. This kid. Miao Jinghao saw that Lin Xian did not choose to fight with his skill. Logically speaking, if they used a thunder attribute skill, Lin Xian would definitely win. However, he did not choose to do so. Instead, he chose to defend. He was passively taking a beating. An Earth rank 1-star skill could be defended against at the same level, but he would definitely be injured. Lin Xian could feel the power surging toward him. The destructive power of the wind element was not weak at all. However, Lin Xian could still block it with his doubled defense. Why did he not choose to use the 5 Thunder Celestial phenomenon? Simple, it consumed too much spiritual energy. For example, Miao Xiao Miao's skill would consume a lot of spiritual energy. When a lot of spiritual energy was consumed, it would be very dangerous. After the dust settled, Lin Xian stood there unscathed. He calmly patted the dust off his body, and even blew on it. Miao Xiao Miao frowned when she saw this. How did he block it? She did not feel Lin Xian using any skill. Miao Jinghao's eyes flashed. What a strong defense. What skill did he use to increase his defense? You're pissing me off. Miao Xiao Miao's beautiful face froze. Then, she turned into a ray of light and rushed towards Lin Xian. That's right, she did not want to lose. He wanted to face Lin Xian head-on. But this time, Miao Xiao Miao's speed was so fast that even Lin Xian was dazzled. It should be a wind attribute movement technique. And its grade isn't low. Lin Xian felt Miao Xiao Miao's speed and quickly made a judgment. Miao Xiao Miao's speed had more than doubled under the enhancement of the movement technique. Even if it had not reached the level of an Earth-grade martial technique, it was still a high-grade profound-grade martial technique. This Miao family is indeed not simple. All sorts of high-level martial skills. Speed Shadow. The Speed Shadow could increase Lin Xian's movement speed by 20%. It didn't seem like much, but on this basis, Lin Xian once again used the scum points to exchange for agility, increasing it by 100%. Lin Xian's speed increase wasn't any slower than Miao Xiao Miao's. So fast. Miao Xiao Miao was also shocked. She was of the wind element. She was so fast because of her martial arts in wind element, so she was very fast. But Lin Xian was of the lightning element. How could he be so fast? Was it also a movement technique? But weren't movement techniques usually only wind element martial artists able to use? Didn't they usually rely on the wind element to activate it? What an interesting young man. Miao Jinghao was also getting more and more interested in Lin Xian. On the stage, the figures of the two were like 2 rays of light. Every time they collided, it looked like 2 rays of light colliding with each other. Then there would be another collision. In 1 second, they might even collide several times. One could imagine how fast the two of them were. But the wind element was still the wind element. In addition to the upgrade of her martial arts, Miao Xiaomiao's speed was naturally much faster than Lin Xian's. Even her afterimages could be seen, but Lin Xian's advantage had not been used yet. Zzz. Purple lightning surrounded his body as he exchanged punches with Miao Xiaomiao again. She quickly retreated. This was the effect of the element once it was used. Purple lightning. It's indeed purple lightning. I haven't seen it in so many years. Miao Jinghao's eyes flashed. Huff huff. Miao Xiaomiao blew on her fist. It was numbing. Hee, how is it? Didn't you say that the wind element counters me? What about now? Lin Xian grinned. Miao Xiaomiao pouted angrily. God knows how this Lin Xian could be so fast. Even if she was faster than Lin Xian, this advantage was not enough to turn into a victory. As for martial arts, she knew that Lin Xian still had Earth-grade martial arts. She would not be able to win in terms of strength. The lightning element was top-notch in terms of attack power, and could crush the wind element. With her speed under Lin Xian's, if she did not have an absolute advantage, it would be difficult for her to win. Who the hell knew how Lin Xian was able to move so quickly? When Feng Jinghao saw Lin Xian's speed, he knew the result of this battle. Naturally, he had heard from Miao Xiaomiao that Lin Xian had Earth-grade lightning element martial arts. Since he knew this and his speed was so fast because of some martial arts, Miao Xiaomiao would not be able to win. Indeed, Lin Xian's performance surprised Miao Jinghao. Alright Xiaomiao, you lost. Come up. Miao Jinghao said to the people below. I haven't lost yet. How could Miao Xiaomiao, this proud girl, admit defeat? Even if she felt that her chances of winning were not high. Take this. Tempest Storm. Lin Xian opened his mouth. The wind in front of him was so strong that Lin Xian could even feel the humidity. To be able to reach this level of martial arts, It was definitely Earth grade. It was not ordinary. The Meow family seemed to be quite powerful. 5 Thunder Celestial Phenomenon. This move was a little difficult to defend against. It was much stronger than the previous whirlwind. Then Lin Xian's body flashed with lightning, and he rushed forward. Miao Xiaomiao also rushed towards Lin Xian. Then, the two terrifying forces collided and exploded. On the stage, Feng Jinghao and Wang Qianqian's clothes were blown by the force. If it were a normal person, they might have staggered back. They could no longer see the situation below. Grandpa Miao, will something happen? Wang Qianqian asked worriedly. Don't worry, both of them know what they're doing. Look, Lin Xian has stopped. Originally, the lightning had exploded in an overwhelming manner. Then, as if the fire had been extinguished, the lightning became much smaller. Tempest Storm is an Earth grade 6-star martial art. Lin Xian's martial art seems to be higher than that. Wang Qianqian's mouth was agape, and her face was full of surprise. Yes, in terms of strength, because it's a lightning-type martial art, its advantage lies in its overwhelming attack power. Even if Lin Xian's martial art is a 4-star martial art, with his purple lightning, he should be able to defeat Xiaomiao's 6-star martial art. But he started to crush her directly. So, this martial art must be above 6-star. I'm very curious. What kind of identity does this Lin Xian have to have such a powerful martial art? Miao Jinghao exclaimed. Earth-grade martial arts were extremely rare, and 6-star martial arts were even more difficult to find. If a person had an Earth-grade martial art, then they had to be looked up to. The dust in the entire martial arts arena slowly dissipated as their powers dissipated. The two figures stood there. Chapter 91. 5 Lightning Celestial Phenomenon consumed 300 spiritual energy points. With Lin Xian's 2,000 spiritual energy points, it didn't seem like it would take much to release it once. However, in a prolonged battle like this, if he kept releasing it, his spiritual energy points would continue to be consumed. It wasn't as simple as 300 spiritual energy points. 300 spiritual energy points was just the foundation for releasing it. Phew! Miao Xiaomiao took a deep breath. Alright Xiaomiao, Lin Xian, come on up. Miao Jinghao could see that this match was going to be won. Wang Qianqian said, Grandpa Miao, Xiaomiao might not lose. Doesn't she still have the fire attribute? Miao Jinghao smiled and said, It's useless. Xiaomiao's advantage against Lin Xian is her wind attribute. When her speed can't crush Lin Xian, she won't be able to win. That's because the lightning attribute is too strong, and it's purple lightning. At the same time, Lin Xian's martial arts skills are strong too. However, there's one thing I don't understand. How did Lin Xian possess such incredible speed? Is it martial arts? Maybe it's a martial arts skill that doesn't require the wind attribute. Dual attributes were naturally stronger, but Lin Xian's dexterity made up for his speed disadvantage. Lightning had the advantage, but no one expected Lin Xian to be so fast. Miao Xiaomiao's advantage was gone. Although Miao Xiaomiao was unwilling, she knew the current situation. She just didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to double his speed. Her wind attribute combined with martial arts skills doubled, but it wasn't enough to double Lin Xian's speed. You admit defeat? Lin Xian smiled and looked at Miao Xiaomiao. Miao Xiaomiao shook her head, her twin ponytails swaying as she walked up. Hey, don't forget our bet. Lin Xian shouted. Miao Xiaomiao stumbled. She wanted to cry when she thought about calling Lin Xian big brother. This person was too infuriating. He must have predicted that she would win. That's why he bet with her. How did she fall for it? Ha ha ha. Hearing Lin Xian's laughter from behind, Miao Xiaomiao sniffled. She could feel the thick malice from this world. Lin Xian followed behind. Little Miao, do you admit defeat? Lin Xian heard Miao Jinghao lecturing Miao Xiaomiao as soon as he arrived. I'm not convinced. If Lin Xian didn't have such speed, he would have lost even if his lightning powers were strong. Miao Xiaomiao pouted. Miao Jinghao ruffled her hair and said, Then Grandpa wants to ask you, what will you do if you encounter a warrior with other attributes who is also very fast? Even if you die in his hands, are you still not convinced? Miao Jinghao continued. No matter what a person does, a win is a win. There must be a reason for that. Do you think that it's impossible to be fast just because you have the thunder attribute? What if it's a lightning and wind dual attribute? What will you do if you encounter it? Meow Xiao Meow lowered her head and didn't say anything. No matter what attribute it is, there are advantages and disadvantages. For example, in your battle with Lin Xian, even if he was fast and had the thunder attribute, you could still win. Do you know how to win? Meow Xiao Meow shook her head. Use your speed to attack Lin Xian endlessly with the least amount of spiritual power. At this moment, Lin Xian only has two options: defend or release the power of lightning to stop you from continuing to attack. However, the advantage of the wind element lies in its speed and low spiritual power consumption. Regardless of whether it is Lin Xian's defense or releasing martial arts techniques, the amount of spiritual power consumed is higher than yours. If he releases a lightning attack, retreat as fast as you can. Lin Xian will definitely consume more spiritual power in a battle of the same level. At that time, Lin Xian will start to panic, not you. Hearing Miao Jinghao's words, Lin Xian was impressed. As expected of a veteran of the older generation, he hit the nail on the head. That's right, Lin Xian really wasn't easy to deal with. Of course, this was under the premise that they were fighting barehanded. Compared to you, Lin Xian is doing too well. You should ask him for advice on these things. He can help you a lot, Miao Jinghao said. No way, Meow Xiao Meow mumbled. You little girl. Miao Jinghao smiled helplessly, then looked at Lin Xian and said to Meow Xiao Meow, if it was a real battle just now, you would have died before you could even release your martial arts. Do you know that? How is that possible? Meow Xiao Meow refused to admit it. Lin Xian, tell me when. Lin Xian said, when little Meow Meow kicked me. Who are you calling little Meow Meow? Meow Xiao Meow glared at him, her eyes filled with resentment. She didn't feel good about losing. Listen carefully. Do you know what you did just now? Miao Jinghao raised his voice. Meow Xiao Meow lowered her head weakly. I know. I shouldn't have let my body hang in the air. That's right. This timing was very important, but you exposed this flaw at the worst possible time. If Lin Xian had attacked directly, you would have fallen. Although she was unhappy, Meow Xiao Meow recalled that it was indeed the case. But that hooligan had actually slapped her butt. Okay, that's all. Miao Jinghao then looked at Lin Xian and said, Lin Xian, then I'll have to trouble you to come here and spar with little Meow more in the future. What do you think? Of course. Lin Xian smiled and agreed. What? Meow Xiao Meow asked. What's wrong? You don't want to? Miao Jinghao looked at Meow Xiao Meow. No. Meow Xiao Meow pouted. Wouldn't she be slapped by Lin Xian every day in the future? Let's go back. We're all tired. Lin Xian, it's almost dinner time. I'll go back and cook. You stay with the Gale mercenaries for dinner before you go back. Lin Xian nodded. That's fine too. Humph. Meow Xiao Meow snorted, and the few of them went back. After they went back, Miao Jinghao went to the cafe's kitchen to cook. Wang Qianqian went to help him, leaving only Lin Xian and Meow Xiao Meow. After they came back, Meow Xiao Meow went to the corner to continue coding. Lin Xian drank his coffee and chatted with Linya, telling her that he wouldn't be home for dinner. Linya was still busy with the company's matters. Lin Xian planned to help her take a look tomorrow. Little Meow Meow. Lin Xian then sat beside Meow Xiao Meow with a cup of coffee. What do you want? Ever since Lin Xian spanked her, Meow Xiao Meow had developed a fear of Lin Xian. It was small, but she felt that Lin Xian was up to no good. Of course I want you to fulfill your promise. Meow Xiao Meow blushed. She was such a tsundere. It was torture for her to call Lin Xian brother. Can you not call me that? Meow Xiao Meow pouted. You want to go back on your word. Chapter 92. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Meow Xiao Meow refused to admit it, and put on a proud expression. How is that possible? I'm not someone who would go back on my words. Then that's fine. Hurry up and call me that. Lin Xian looked at her with a smile. Meow Xiao Meow wanted to die whenever she thought of that scene. Imagine a proud and arrogant girl. Even the 17 or 18-year-old Chu Meng and the others had to call her sister Meow. But one day, she had to call a boy Big Brother. Naturally, she couldn't take it. How about I treat you to a meal? I know a new restaurant not far away. It's really good. Meow Xiao Meow said with a smile. It was rare to see such a happy expression on her face. This was an eye-opener for Lin Xian. Sure, I'll finish it. Meow Xiao Meow. Ding. Detected Meow Xiao Meow's resentment. Scumbag value plus 10,000. Lin Xian obviously knew what she meant. But Lin Xian wanted to teach this girl a lesson. A duel was fine, but she had to fulfill her promise. Hurry up and call me that. Meow Xiao Meow also knew that she couldn't escape this. She looked around and saw that there was no one around. This was probably the best news. She let out a long sigh of relief, lowered her head, and whispered softly, Big Brother! Big Brother! Lin Xian was holding back his laughter. He couldn't laugh. It wouldn't be good if he broke. Ding! Detected Meow Xiao Meow's shyness. Scumbag value plus 10,000. 2 more calls. Also louder. Lin Xian looked at Meow Xiao Meow and said. At this moment, Meow Xiao Meow's little face was flushed red, coupled with her exquisite twin ponytails. It was simply too lethal for any man. Meow Xiao Meow would rather call Lin Xian Big Brother than act shamelessly. After all, if a girl like her acted shamelessly, Lin Xian would laugh to death. Compared to this, it was even more laughable. If it was a normal girl acting shamelessly, it wouldn't be a problem. Who? Meow Xiao Meow took a deep breath. Okay, brother. One more. Louder. Good brother. Meow Xiao Meow glared at Lin Xian. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Although the one in front of her was just a 14-year-old girl, she was still a little special. Making Meow Xiao Meow admit defeat was still very satisfying. Lin Xian felt even better than beating up Jiang Tianhao. Ding. Meow Xiao Meow's favorability towards you plus 5. There was one thing that Lin Xian could not understand. He had clearly forced Meow Xiao Meow to call him Big Brother. And Meow Xiao Meow was definitely unwilling to do so. Under such circumstances, she had still called him Big Brother 3 times. Logically speaking, doing something against her should have lowered her favorability towards him. But it had actually increased. This was why Lin Xian could not understand a girl's thoughts. I really don't understand. Oh, by the way, I want to let you hear something. Meow Xiao Meow's voice rang out beside Lin Xian. Good brother. You. Meow Xiao Meow's face was red with anger. He had actually recorded it. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian laughed again. Delete it. Meow Xiao Meow jumped over to snatch it away. But Lin Xian ran away. How could he let her snatch it away? Ah, Meow Xiao Meow was starting to go crazy. Lin Xian waved the phone from afar and laughed. Set it as my phone's alarm. Ringtone for incoming calls, ringtone for messages. Aya, how nice. Meow Xiao Meow was speechless. Ding. Strong resentment from Meow Xiao Meow has been detected. Scumbag value plus 100,000. Bastard. Meow Xiao Meow stomped her foot cutely, then went into the kitchen in embarrassment and anger. She was probably going to complain to Meow Zhenghao. Soon, Wang Qianqian and Meow Xiao Meow came out one after another with plates of food. Lin Xian could smell the aroma. To be honest, he was a little hungry after fighting for the whole day. Meow Xiao Meow glared at Lin Xian as soon as she came out. It seemed like she had quite a bit of resentment towards Lin Xian. She probably complained to Lin Xian and was reprimanded by Meow Zhenghao. It's the last soup. Lin Xian, wash your hands and come eat. Wang Qianqian said to Lin Xian. Coming. Lin Xian washed his hands and went over. Xiao Meow, pour a bowl of soup for Lin Xian. Meow Jinghao said to Meow Xiao Meow. He doesn't have hands. Do it yourself. She rolled her eyes at Lin Xian cutely. You little girl. Lin Xian will often teach you how to fight in the future. At the same time, he's a guest. Don't you have a duty to serve him soup? Meow Xiao Meow angrily poured a bowl of soup for Lin Xian. Your soup, Meow Xiao Meow said as she placed the bowl in front of Lin Xian. Thank you, Xiao Meow. Ah. Every time she heard Lin Xian call her Xiao Meow, Meow Xiao Meow shivered and wanted to throw a stool at him. Meow Jinghao looked at Lin Xian and laughed. Lin Xian, don't mind her too much. Xiao Meow has been spoiled since she was young. Her parents only see her once a year and don't have time to discipline her. As her grandfather, I'm not good at disciplining her, so. Lin Xian smiled and said, actually, I think she's pretty good the way she is now. Lin Xian wasn't saying this as a compliment. Lin Xian felt that Miao Xiaomiao's current personality was her most outstanding. It was also what Lin Xian felt was the most special and favorite part of her. On the other hand, the little girl who whined and asked for hugs didn't have any special characteristics. I don't need you to tell me that. Miao Xiaomiao pouted, but she was actually quite happy inside. Ding! Miao Xiaomiao's favorability towards you plus 0.5. Lin Xian was speechless. Women. This was what women were like. Normally, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to tell whether she was happy or not. However, with this favorability, he could naturally tell. On the surface, Miao Xiaomiao seemed to be expressing all sorts of opinions towards Lin Xian. However, her favorability towards him was increasing, proving that she liked what Lin Xian had said. Naturally, her favorability towards him increased as well. Hence, the saying that a woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the sea was not just a saying. Ha ha ha. Xiaomiao, you should go to the Sky Martial Court to learn more when you're free. All right, grandfather. Miao Xiaomiao agreed readily. Lin Xian asked curiously, can I go even if I'm not a student of the Sky Martial Court? Miao Jinghao smiled and said, actually, Xiaomiao is also a student of the Sky Martial Court. However, she's just a student in name. She hasn't gone to school there, and is taught at home. However, although I feel that the things taught in the Sky Martial Court are not as good as the outside world, some things are still very important. Since you're in the Sky Martial Court, I'll have to trouble you to take care of Xiaomiao when you're free, Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and said, of course, no problem. Whether it was because of the mission, Lin Xian's admiration for Miao Xiaomiao, or because Miao Jinghao had given Lin Xian an Earth-rank martial arts technique, Lin Xian would definitely help. The Earth-rank martial arts technique, Heavenly Thunder Flash, was a long-range attack. Lin Xian couldn't wait to learn it. After finishing their meal, Lin Xian chatted with them for a while before returning home. By the time he reached home, it was already 8 o'clock in the evening. If Lin Xian wasn't at home, Lin Ye would be too lazy to cook. What was the point of cooking when she was eating alone? Most of the time, she would finish her meal in the company's cafeteria. However, if Lin Xian was home, even if Lin Ye could eat a simple meal, she would still buy groceries to cook at home. Even if it wasn't for herself, it was for Lin Xian's sake. Even more simply, she would bring the food from the company's cafeteria to eat with Lin Xian. However, she wouldn't do that. She would cook for Lin Xian, unless there were special circumstances. When Lin Xian returned home, Lin Ye was on the phone in the living room. Lin Xian was listening to the conversation on the phone about the company's goods. Seeing that Lin Xian had returned home, Lin Ye hurriedly explained the matter, and hung up the phone. Little fairy, I want a hug. Lin Xian smiled and opened his arms. Lin Ye rolled her eyes at Lin Xian before pouring him a glass of water and said, drink some water first. Chapter 93. To be honest, Lin Ye took care of Lin Xian in every possible way. Her every move and action was nothing like a girl, who was only a few years older than Lin Xian. Pouring a glass of water for Lin Xian, as soon as she got home, was something only a mother would do. As an older sister, this was too much. Lin Xian naturally knew this, which was why he cherished Lin Ye so much. If Lin Ye was hurt in the slightest, Lin Xian would definitely go crazy. After taking a sip of water, Lin Xian and Lin Ye sat on the sofa. Lin Xian asked, is the company's matter still not resolved? Lin Ye shook her head. No, I can't find out the reason. I'll personally go over tomorrow. If I can't find anything, then there's nothing I can do. Could it be that the crystals you bought were wrong? Lin Xian asked. Lin Ye said, the crystals are right. Every time I buy the crystals, I buy them myself. I'm pretty sure about this. That can't be right. Since the crystals are real, there's no reason why the clothes don't have any attributes. Lin Xian frowned slightly. Lin Ye looked at Lin Xian and asked, you mean? I think that in the end, there's only one reason, the crystals. If little fairy is sure that the crystals you bought are real, and the clothes don't have any attributes, Then there must be a problem with the crystals during the transportation or in the factory. Linya nodded. I'm also clear on this point. Even if there's a mistake in the manufacturing process, it's impossible that the clothes don't have any attributes. It's most likely that the attributes are messed up, or that the strength of the attributes isn't adjusted properly. It's impossible for the clothes to have no attributes, but I'm sure that there's no problem with the crystals. So it's very clear. In the factory in Yunhai County, there's a problem with the crystals. Maybe they were swapped. Swapped? Linya frowned. This was a very serious problem. How much is this batch of crystals? Linya said 10 million. Even if we can make all the clothes and sell them, we'll only make double the profit. Then Lin Xian looked at Linya and asked, do you think there might be a mole in your company? He switched your batch of crystals and used fake ones to make up the numbers. Maybe he really hid them, or even sold them. Lin Xian's question stumped Linya. It wasn't that Lin Xian was smart, but he had eliminated a series of possibilities. When Linya bought the clothes, there was no mistake with the crystals. Even if there was a mistake during the manufacturing process, the clothes wouldn't have no attributes at all. Putting these 2 points together, the answer was actually quite clear. In other words, the reason for this situation was because the crystals weren't used in the production of the clothes. And if the crystals weren't used, the factory's employees would naturally know. With so many people, it was impossible for everyone to betray them, right? So combining this point, they might have added the power of the crystals during the manufacturing process. But they didn't know whether the crystals were real or fake. Putting all these points together, the crystals being swapped was the clearest answer. Linya had been thinking about this problem for the past few days. Her thoughts were in the same direction as Lin Xian, but she never thought that her subordinates would betray her. But Lin Xian's words made Linya realize that she had miscalculated. How did you become so smart? Linya's beautiful face turned to Lin Xian, her beautiful eyes sparkling as she looked at Lin Xian. This sentence made Lin Xian unhappy. Why did it sound so weird? It was as if she was saying that he wasn't smart in the past. Ha ha ha. Don't you know who little fairy is to me? Of course I'm smart. Lin Xian said with a smile as he hugged Linya. Linya was also enlightened as a faint smile appeared on her face. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to bear the loss of tens of millions, and her reputation would be ruined. Ding! Host and Linya have intimate contact. Scumman value plus 100000. That's right, the Scumman system detected that Lin Xian was hugging Linya, which meant that it was very intimate. But this kind of hugging didn't mean anything between them. The meaning was different, so Linya naturally wouldn't push Lin Xian away. In fact, Linya would even lean on Lin Xian's shoulder to chat with him. This Scumman system, after interacting with Lin Xian for so long, he finally understood. Those who flirted with older sisters, or had physical contact with older sisters weren't Scumman behavior. In a sense it wasn't, but it would still increase the Scumman value. In Lin Xian's eyes, these were all the prerequisites of being a Scumman. That counted too. According to what you said, the person I suspect is the person in charge of the factory in Yunhai County. He's also the person with the most authority to touch this batch of crystals. Linya leaned on Lin Xian's shoulder and said faintly, smelling the fragrance on the tip of his nose. Lin Xian's imagination began to run wild. I'll go with you tomorrow. Linya sat up and looked at Lin Xian. You're not going to class? Lin Xian smiled and pinched Linya's beautiful face and said, I'm going, but because I'm more outstanding, I've learned a lot of things in advance, so it doesn't matter if I'm going or not. Compared to that, little fairy's matter is definitely more important. Actually, Linya also wanted Lin Xian to go. She felt that with Lin Xian by her side, she would be more at ease. Then do you want me to give that female teacher of yours a call? Linya asked. No need. After a while Linya asked, have you found a girlfriend? This question was awkward. Little fairy, what if I can't find a girlfriend? Lin Xian asked with a smile. How's that possible? Linya immediately said. Then what if you can't find one? Linya didn't know what to say. Can't find one? How is that possible? There's no what if. Linya said. Lin Xian smiled and said, then if you can't find one, then you can just be my girlfriend. Ding. Feeling all kinds of emotions from Linya. Trashman value plus 100000. Linya then sat up. Her beautiful face was a bit red as she looked at Lin Xian and said, Little Xian, how many times have I told you? Your way of thinking is wrong. But if I can't find a girlfriend, then I won't be able to carry on the family line. My Lin family's bloodline. If little fairy doesn't help, then forget it. Just let my Lin family's bloodline end. Lin Xian looked depressed. You. Linya gritted her teeth. Her beautiful face was about to bleed. Lin Xian looked at her current appearance. Heavens! She was simply too beautiful. Then Lin Xian pulled Linya into his embrace. Anyways, if I can't find a wife and you don't have a boyfriend, then you can be my wife. Then I'll go find a boyfriend right now. Linya opened her mouth and bit Lin Xian's shoulder. What was this brat thinking all day long? He actually had ideas about her. But Linya had a strange feeling in her heart. Something like yearning. Chapter 94. Lin Xian understood Linya too well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to say such words. Alright, go and find her. Since you've found her, I won't bother you anymore. Come, give me a kiss. Go die. Linya pushed Lin Xian's head away. She stood up with a red face and said, I'm going to wash up. You should sleep early too. You have to wake up early tomorrow. After saying this, she quickly walked away. In the past, Linya never thought that Lin Xian would say such words to her. In the past, Lin Xian didn't even joke with her. The current change made Linya very happy. At the very least, didn't this mean that Lin Xian was living a happier life than before? Wasn't it her wish that he was happy? Ding. Confession to Linya failed. Scumman value, 100000. Lin Xian. The sudden system notification made Lin Xian dumbfounded. What the fuck? Failed. No. He didn't confess. Was this considered a confession? This was at most a joke, right? The fuck? His 100,000 scumman value was gone just like that? The 100,000 he had just received from Linya. Hey system, I didn't confess. Give me back my scumman value. Lin Xian questioned the scumman system in his mind. After testing, the host's thoughts and words are true. The system has determined that it is a confession. Lin Xian. That meant that the words he had just said were a joke was actually what he was thinking in his heart. He really wanted to possess Linya? Fuck. Lin Xian, you've really turned into a scum. Lin Xian looked at Linya's back, and then looked at her favorability. When he triggered this quest, it also showed favorability, but the system notification didn't sound, so Lin Xian didn't care about it. After the few confession quests reminded him of the favorability, Lin Xian finally remembered to check the favorability between himself and Linya. Didn't they say that the higher the favorability, the easier it was to confess? Could it be that Linya's favorability towards him wasn't high? Damn. Looking at the favorability, Lin Xian's mouth opened wide. 91. And the explanation behind the 91 favorability was life and death. This meant that Linya's favorability towards Lin Xian had reached the point of life and death together. His first reaction was touched. How much did a person have to care for another person to reach the point of life and death? His second reaction was that he didn't understand. Damn, with such a degree of favorability, the confession still failed? Suddenly thinking of the reason, Lin Xian also understood. The failure was because of their relationship. Their roles were different. Their roles were siblings. Under such circumstances, if the younger brother confessed to the older sister, even if the older sister liked the younger brother a lot, how could it succeed? Moreover, Lin Xian did seem to be joking just now. Linya naturally understood some of it, so even if she took Lin Xian's words seriously, there was the definition of a joke, so she wouldn't really take it seriously. But 91 favorability, Lin Xian was secretly speechless. He even felt that he owed Linya too much. He had to work hard to become stronger, so that he could give Linya a better and more peaceful life in the future. Looking at his scumman points, he currently had 890,100, 890,000, 8 experience fruits, 8,000 experience fruits. Currently, he needed 25,000 experience fruits to reach arcane body 2 stars. So his experience fruits couldn't keep up. Therefore, Lin Xian urgently needed the second system store. And the second system store could only be opened after a successful confession to Lu Yufan. This made Lin Xian feel very conflicted. A successful confession meant that he had a girlfriend, but Lin Xian didn't want to have a girlfriend for the time being. Should he dump her after a successful confession, or should he tell her that it was a joke? Once this thought appeared, Lin Xian quickly shook his head. From the beginning, he had been telling himself not to be a scum man. But wasn't this the way a scum man would think? Moreover, he was actually using her. When she was no longer useful, Lin Xian would kick her away. Wasn't this a scum man? It turned out that in the unseen world, he himself didn't realize this matter. This was too terrifying. Even if Lin Xian didn't want to delay Lu Yufan, in this case, using her was a fact. He was still a scum man. Heavens! Who? Lin Xian took a deep breath, then went to wash his face and went to bed. After going to bed, he cultivated the heavenly thunder flash. In one night, he comprehended about 20%, but he was already very satisfied. The sky was just beginning to brighten. Because Lin Xian's level was higher, even if he didn't sleep, he wouldn't be exhausted. Then he looked at his scum man points. With over 800,000 scum man points, he finally chose to go for another round of the lottery wheel. Exchanging for other things wasn't cost-effective, and he couldn't increase his level. If he drew an Earth rank martial skill, wouldn't that be better than increasing his level? The 500,000 scum man wheel spun in Lin Xian's mind. Ding, you have used the big wheel 3 times. The cost of using the big wheel has increased to 1 million scum man points. Lin Xian. Really? Although this system made Lin Xian feel that it was heaven-defying, sometimes he really wanted to kill it. A good 500,000 scum man wheel, because he used it 3 times. Now it has become 1 million scum man wheel. Damn, then if I use it 3 more times, will it become 1,500,000 scum man wheel? Lin Xian couldn't help but ridicule. Ding, after using it 3 more times, the big wheel will consume 2 million scum man points, calculated as double. Lin Xian. This damn system actually replied to him. Fine. Anyway, Lin Xian felt that it was easier to obtain scum man points now. 1 million scum man points it is. But if it was anything else, if it was a blow-up doll, then Lin Xian swore that he would never use the big wheel again in his life. Ding! Congratulations! You have obtained the effect of random martial skill enhancement once. Lin Xian was slightly stunned when he heard the system's notification. Martial skill enhancement? That's not bad, right? But it was random. Otherwise Lin Xian would definitely enhance it to 5 lightning constellation. Earth stage 8 star 5 lightning constellation. Would it become a heaven stage martial skill? Unfortunately, he could only think about it now. Ding! Host's martial skill, Spirit Eye, has been enhanced. It's still okay. If it enhanced my yellow stage martial skills, then I would really cry. Lin Xian muttered, then looked at the effect of the enhanced Spirit Eye. Spiritual Eye, unknown grade martial skill, owner, Lin Xian effect. Each use consumes 10 spirit points, able to see the attributes of a unit not higher than the user's level by 5. Second effect, can be used for a long time, unable to see the attributes of living units, but can see hidden mechanisms, hidden barriers and hidden items that release heaven and earth spiritual energy. Choose to use it for a long time, cost of 300 spirit points, duration, 5 minutes. Lin Xian opened his mouth. The front part didn't change, only the name of the martial skill changed. The enhancement was on 1 point, which was an additional function. By consuming 300 spirit points, he could see all hidden mechanisms, barriers, illusions and even treasures that release heaven and earth spiritual energy for 5 minutes. This ability made Lin Xian extremely surprised. Chapter 95. Although Lin Xian had yet to encounter any barriers or mechanisms, it didn't mean that he wouldn't encounter them in the future. Furthermore, it would be easy for him to encounter them when he became stronger. For example, barriers. Some powerful people, or even demonic beasts, could release various types of barriers. Lin Xian's Eye of Cave Spirit could see them directly, and even see through illusions. Furthermore, the Eye of Cave Spirit could see the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. What did that mean? It was simple. For example, if there was a spiritual treasure releasing spiritual energy in this place, Lin Xian's Eye of Insight might not be able to see through things, but it should be able to follow the direction of the spiritual energy to find the spiritual treasure. Wasn't this something that Lin Xian needed? Lin Xian just happened to need the help of various powerful spiritual treasures to obtain permanent attributes. Wasn't this Eye of Cave Spirit the most convenient way for him to do so? Lin Xian even wanted to go to the deep cold valley and release the Eye of Cave Spirit there. As long as there was a spiritual treasure there, Lin Xian could definitely use the Eye of Cave Spirit to find it. This was an extremely exaggerated martial skill. It was a cheat. Although it didn't have any killing power, Lin Xian was ecstatic when he saw the upgraded Eye of Cave Spirit's effects. Simply put, he wouldn't trade it for an 8-star Earth-class martial skill. If I have time, I'll go to the deep cold valley first, Lin Xian secretly planned. However, he was hesitant about something. The spiritual treasure in the deep cold valley had frozen the place to this extent. With his current weak level, even if he found the spiritual treasure, would he have the ability to refine it and absorb it? Although he could absorb it with the help of the scumbag system, the power of the deep cold valley was still on his body. If he couldn't withstand it, he would freeze to death. It was useless to hang around. Hence, Lin Xian was in a dilemma again. Just as the sun rose, Lin Xian took out the Heavenly Thunder Flash martial skill and continued to cultivate. Purple lightning constantly condensed in his palm, fluctuating in size and in size. He was cultivating according to the heavenly cycle of martial skills. In fact, if he directly imbued himself with wisdom, between learning the release of a martial skill in a second and spending several days, or even several months to learn a martial skill, Lin Xian would also choose the latter. This was because the martial skills learned by the latter were more powerful and had greater effects. It was just a matter of time. Who wouldn't be willing to exchange time for greater power? Of course, many lazy people were unwilling to do so. There were also many people who couldn't understand the cultivation methods of these martial arts, so they would naturally choose the former. Lin Xian was fine. In fact, it was the same as the cultivation methods on Earth. After all, the human body was the same. Although Lin Xian couldn't cultivate on Earth, he had been studying it all this time. He had always thought that he would have a chance to cultivate, which was why he had never given up on it. He had never thought that he would be able to use it on planet Aqua Blue, including his combat experience. Ding! Heavenly Thunder Flash Learning Progress, 13%. Ding! Heavenly Thunder Flash Learning Progress, 14%. After an hour or so, Lin Xian heard the sound of Linya's door opening. He then stopped cultivating. If he had the time, he should be able to finish cultivating it in 4 or 5 days. After all, it was an Earth-rank martial skill. It was quite profound and slow to cultivate. He opened the door and walked out. Linya had just put on an apron. Their rooms had bathrooms, so she had already finished washing up in her room. Now, she was preparing to make breakfast for Lin Xian. "Why are you up so early?" Linya looked at Lin Xian and asked. Lin Xian walked over and smiled. "I missed you so much that I couldn't sleep the whole night." Ding! Felt Linya's shyness. Scumbag value plus 20,000. Linya's charming face really did turn red. Under normal circumstances, she wouldn't be moved by these words. Who would have thought that Lin Xian would say such a thing, catching her off guard? "Go, hurry up and wash up. I'll go make breakfast for you." Linya rolled her eyes at Lin Xian, and then pushed him towards the bathroom. Okay. Lin Xian smiled and went to wash up. After washing up, he went to the kitchen and watched the busy Linya. To be honest, Lin Xian felt that he could just stand there and watch for an entire day without getting tired. "Little fairy, I want to eat cola chicken wings," Lin Xian said from the side. Linya paused and looked at Lin Xian and said, "Eating something so oily so early in the morning? What do you want to do?" "But I feel like I haven't eaten anything you made in a long time. I really miss it." When we go to the factory in Yunhai County, I'll help you in the kitchen. Hi, hey, that's great. Love you. Lin Xian gave a sweet smile and then walked away. Ding. Felt Linya's shyness. Scumbag value plus 10,000. Linya's beautiful face was dyed with a layer of red. If you had such a sweet mouth outside, you wouldn't be unable to find a girlfriend. Linya muttered in a small voice, but her heart was still quite sweet. If Lin Xian heard this, he would cry out that he was wronged. He was also like this outside, but he still couldn't find a girlfriend. Linya made breakfast while thinking about Lin Xian's previous state. Before, he was like a walking corpse, not smiling let alone joking. At that time, Linya's heart ached to death. She knew that it was because Lin Xian didn't have the God spawn system, but she couldn't help him. All she could do was accompany him and work hard to run the company well, giving Lin Xian a better material life. However, Linya found that ever since Lin Xian mysteriously obtained the God spawn system, he had become a different person. In Linya's memory, the current Lin Xian had a kind of naivety and childishness. She liked the current Lin Xian very much, because it meant that he was happy. Breakfast was noodles, Lin Xian's favorite seafood noodles. There was always some seafood at home, such as mantis shrimp, crab roe, and so on. Linya bought them when she was free, and then she peeled them bit by bit, and put them in the fridge. Because Lin Xian liked it, she also liked it. Lin Xian ran in and broke the noodles. Linya walked out and saw a cup of fresh juice on the table. Just squeezed. Damn, I used so many fruits to squeeze out this little bit. Just one cup, this is too much. Linya took it and took a sip. Lin Xian expectantly asked, "How is it?" "I researched the recipe myself. It's so sour." Linya couldn't help but say, "What? Is it sour?" Lin Xian took Linya's cup and took a sip. At that moment, he felt like his teeth were going to fall out. "Damn. Little fairy, what fruit did you buy? It's so sour." Lin Xian ridiculed. "Are you sure it's not because you put so many pineapples in it?" Linya cutely rolled her eyes. Heavens, she should take care of Lin Xian in the future. Otherwise, he might just kill himself. As this thought flashed through her mind, Linya was stunned. She couldn't really want to be Lin Xian's wife, right? Chapter 96. Linya froze on the spot. No. It must be an older sister taking care of her younger brother. That's all. That's because you bought the pineapple. Lin Xian said unhappily. Hurry up and eat. We're going to Yunhai City. Okay. After eating, the glass of fruit juice that Lin Xian had squeezed out was finished by Linya. When Lin Xian saw that the glass was empty, he asked, "Have you poured it?" Linya said plainly that she had finished drinking. Then, she took her bag and keys, opened the door and walked out. Lin Xian chuckled as he followed behind her. After driving to the company, Linya had a simple morning meeting. Then, she asked a few company leaders to accompany her. This time, they might not be able to find anything from the factory in Yunhai County. They might not be able to find anything. And they might not be able to find anything that could be used against that person. But in fact, Linya didn't have much hope. After all, 2 days had passed. Even if he had any flaws, he should be able to clean them up in 2 days. Linya felt that Lin Xian's words were very reasonable. They could definitely match up. It was a pity that she thought of it too late. If she had gone there on the first day, she might have been able to catch the culprit. On the way, Linya drove and discussed the factory with Lin Xian. Lin Xian also felt that it was too late. But that was not necessarily the case. Yunhai County was one of the counties in Tianhua City. It was about 40 kilometers away from Tianhua City where they lived. It was only an hour's drive. Linya's company had a few factories. Naturally, it was not easy to build a factory in the city. Therefore, they usually built in the suburbs of the county. An hour later, Lin Xian saw the factory of Linya's company. It was not too big. It was built next to a village in the county. Because it manufactured clothes, there was almost no pollution. The 2 cars stopped. Lin Xian and Linya got out of the car. Linya's 3 company leaders followed behind them. At this moment, Linya's temperament was that of a cold goddess. Those men didn't even dare to get close to Linya. They had to lower their heads and lower their waists when they spoke to her. They were a little afraid. Lin Ye's aura was quite strong, but Lin Xian was so happy when he thought of how gentle and lovely Lin Ye was at home. Director Lin, please come in, come in. The person in charge of the factory smiled apologetically. Oh, is Director Lin's brother? As expected of a man of striking appearance. Huang Shiqiang looked at Lin Xian and smiled as he patted Lin Xian's shoulder. Before Lin Xian went to Deep Cold Valley, he had met Huang Shiqiang when he went to Lin Ye's company to look for her. He was the person in charge of this factory, and also Lin Xian's biggest suspect. In any case, Lin Xian's first impression of him was not good. As for whether it was him or not, Lin Xian believed that he would be able to find some clues. Lin Xian smiled and nodded at Huang Shiqiang. Then he looked around and said, "It's quite beautiful. There's a farmer's vegetable field next to it. There's also a river. The air is good too." Ha ha ha, that's right. Director Lin has chosen a good place. Huang Shiqiang smiled apologetically. Lin Ye's face was expressionless. She looked at the factory in front of her and said calmly, "It's been one night, and you still haven't found out what I've asked you to do." Huang Shiqiang was 40 years old. He walked to Lin Ye's side and said with a troubled expression, "Director Lin, I've investigated this matter thoroughly. Even the surveillance cameras inside and outside the factory did not fast forward for 24 hours. The batch of crystals was never touched. They were directly transported to the factory. The process was also recorded on the surveillance cameras. The crystals were processed reasonably and added attributes into the clothes. So you still haven't found the root of the problem, right?" Lin Ye said coldly. Huang Shiqiang nodded. "That's right. We all think that there's a problem with the crystals." "Humph." Lin Ye coldly snorted. The surrounding people didn't dare to say anything. It wasn't that they were afraid of Lin Ye. Lin Ye usually treated her subordinates very well. It was just that in this kind of situation, coupled with Lin Ye's cold temperament, they were a bit afraid. "I personally went to buy the crystal, and I'm sure that the crystal is real. It's good. But the clothes made by your factory don't have any attribute effects, and the crystal was used. Could it be that it's haunted?" Huang Shiqiang didn't say anything because he couldn't say anything. "Director Chen, you three follow Director Huang inside to see if there's a mistake. You don't need to follow me. I'll just walk around the factory with little Xian." "Okay." Then the four of them walked into the factory. "I'm afraid that we won't be able to find anything." Lin Ye rubbed her temples and sighed. The surveillance cameras didn't have any abnormalities. Could it be that the crystals she bought were scammed? But Lin Ye was also very sure that the crystals were real. "Don't be in such a hurry. Let's walk around first." "Okay." Then the two of them walked into the factory. They walked around while chatting. "Actually, I still suspect that Huang Shiqiang is behind this, but I don't have any evidence." Lin Xian muttered. "Could it be that we're thinking in the wrong direction? But if the crystals are real, it's impossible for the clothes to have no attributes." Lin Ye nodded. "That's why I agree with you." Lin Ye was very sure that the crystals she bought were real. Because every batch of crystals was very expensive, Lin Ye would naturally check them carefully every time. A piece of crystal cost more than 100,000 yuan. She didn't want to have a few fake crystals mixed in with a batch of real ones. Lin Ye was also very sure that the crystals she bought were real. Because every batch of crystals was very expensive, Lin Ye would naturally check them carefully. Every time she checked them carefully, a piece of crystal cost more than 100,000 yuan. So Lin Ye was very sure that the crystals she bought were real. Then it must have been swapped out. So the crystals are transported from here to be processed. Lin Xian looked at the sliding workbench in front of him. Lin Ye nodded. "Yes, it's transported there and then processed. Technology is added to the clothes. When it's activated, it can absorb the power of the crystals to achieve various effects such as heating, cooling, speed, and so on." Lin Xian raised his head and looked around. There were many cameras around. Although there were still many blind spots, these key transportation areas could be monitored. Suddenly, Lin Xian noticed something. "What's wrong?" Lin Xian looked at the few surveillance cameras above and said, "There are quite a few surveillance cameras here. They are all newly installed." "Well, half a month ago, Huang Shiqiang gave me a sum of money to install 8 cameras inside and outside. It's indeed a little too little. He means to install 8 cameras inside and outside the factory. Lin nodded. But there are 5 new cameras in this workshop alone. Don't you think something's wrong? Chapter 97. Lin looked around and saw that there were indeed 5 more people. There were so many that some of the cameras could even detect that some of them were overlapping. Because the workshop is more important, he probably put a few more here. Lin said. Lin Xian said. Of course it's possible. But little fairy, don't you think it's too much of a coincidence? Lin looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Lin Xian said. Think about it. The cameras were installed just before this batch of crystals was shipped over. Coincidentally, there were 5 more cameras here, which allowed us to see the surroundings clearly. Coincidentally, there was a problem with this batch of crystals. So the new cameras could see the entire process of the crystals being shipped over. Lin understood Lin Xian's meaning. You're saying that we can assume that Huang Shiqiang started planning this half a month ago, and added the cameras just to prove to me that everything was normal, and that the crystals were normal? That's right. That's my guess. Because there are so many cameras here, I'm even more suspicious. After a pause, Lin Xian continued. From where the crystals were stored to here, everything is within the range of the cameras. There are no blind spots, so he can prove to us that the crystals didn't have any problems in the factory. But it's also possible that he just happened to want to record the entire process. That way the crystals would be safer. Lin said. Of course it's possible. But I'm suspicious of him, so I'm more inclined to believe what I said. If my guess is correct, then he's exposed a flaw. Lin found that her brain couldn't keep up with Lin Xian's. What flaw? In other words, the crystals were swapped out before they were transported to the factory. Lin's beautiful eyes lit up. I understand. Why didn't she realize that Lin Xian was so smart before? But there's a premise. The crystals were really swapped out. Lin said. I think that based on this premise, we can basically confirm it with the combination of our previous points. Lin also nodded. But if they were swapped out midway, then it's even more impossible to find them. That's possible. Lin Xian's eyes lit up, and then he asked, how were the crystals transported here? Lin said, every time, I'm the one who drives them here. It's impossible for them to stop halfway, so it's impossible for them to be swapped out midway. If I'm not wrong, the car usually stops at the spot where Little Fairy drove just now, right? Lin nodded. There's no camera there, right? Lin was right. Lin Xian, it seemed like that was the case. Lin Xian's Lin Xian's, Lin Xian's Lin Xian's Lin Xian. Lin nodded. Normally, I would either enter the factory directly or drive away, because I never thought that something like this would happen. I thought that it would be enough to escort the crystals to the factory. So that's the location of the switch. Lin Xian pointed at the area where Lin's car was parked. Lin even felt that Lin Xian could become a detective. This made her incomparably shocked. Most importantly, what Lin Xian said was correct in the eyes of someone as smart as her. It was also the most likely scenario. That's just our suspicion. We don't have any evidence. I know. Little Fairy, do you still remember the person who moved the box? Lin nodded. Huang Shiqiang and Minister Chen. Lin Xian then nodded and said, Hee Little Fairy, I'm hungry. Go and cook for me, I'll look for it. Lin nodded slightly. Actually, there was nothing she could do if she couldn't find it. She had already tried her best. Then I'll go to the cafeteria to cook for you. Then Lin walked away. Lin Xian then went to the parking lot. There were no surveillance cameras here. It's been 2 days. I can only hope that you haven't moved this batch of crystals away because of your cowardice, or that you haven't found a buyer yet. Otherwise, there's nothing I can do. Lin Xian then activated his eye of spiritual insight. Lin Xian wouldn't be able to do anything if he didn't have the cave spirit eye. However, things were different now that he had it. Lin Xian released his eye of the cave spirit, and his pupils turned purple. In his eyes, everything seemed to become transparent, but it wasn't truly transparent. It was just like the robot's perspective in the movies. So it's under my feet. The cave spirit I could see through mechanisms. In principle, it was able to discover a difference in a similar place. For example, there was a hole in the cement floor under his feet. This was the difference. Lin Xian walked over and found that there was a small gap in a rectangular piece of cement about 2 meters wide. Normally, the gap would be blocked by dust, and one wouldn't be able to see it if they looked carefully. However, the gap was bigger, which meant that it had been opened by someone not long ago. There were 2 areas that were broken. At first glance, it looked like there were 2 small gaps in the cement floor. He didn't care at all. In fact, this was where he let go. Lin Xian squatted down and placed his hands on the gap. Then he lifted it up. Sure enough, the cement floor was actually a cement board. After opening it up, Lin Xian saw a space of about 2 square meters. Everything was confirmed. When the box was moved down, Linya only told the people behind to move the box in. Then she walked into the yard. They happened to be blocked by a car, so they opened the cement board. There were boxes and fake crystals inside, so they could just swap them. There were no cameras, and there was no one around. The employees were working, so Linya couldn't see them. This was why they dared to do it. However, it was already empty. Lin Xian covered it up, so no one saw him discover it. Even if they did, there was no evidence that Huang Shiqiang did it. However, the cave spirit eye saw that the air was filled with various colors of light. That was spiritual qi. Ordinary people could only sense it, but not see it. However, the cave spirit eye could see it. It was very thin and couldn't be sensed. It was also very faint. However, Lin Xian could search in this direction. This could be considered good luck. He just happened to level up the cave spirit eye and had this ability. It just so happened that the crystals were moved away not long ago. Probably a few hours ago in the wee hours of the morning. Otherwise, the spiritual qi would no longer exist. Lin Xian kept the cave spirit eye open and searched in the direction of the thin spiritual qi. The spiritual qi in front of him was getting denser. So it hasn't been moved away. It's just changed to a safer place. Lin Xian's lips curled. In front of him was a piece of land. With the cave spirit eye, Lin Xian could sense that the spiritual qi here was relatively strong. In other words, there was a treasure under the ground that released spiritual qi. Naturally, it was the crystals. This place was only 200 meters away from the factory. The rest was simple. Because their fingerprints were on the box, the situation was set. Lin Xian really admired his own intelligence. Then he swaggered back to the factory. Chapter 98. After returning, Lin Xian went to the factory's kitchen. The other chefs were cooking for the workers, while Linya was making lunch for Lin Xian alone. Why did you come in? It'll be done in a while. Linya said gently when she saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian walked to the side and said, I'll help you. Then okay. Soon the 3 dishes were finished. They were all Lin Xian's favorite dishes. Linya made more so that the employees could share it. After filling 2 bowls of rice, Lin Xian and Linya went to the cafeteria alone to eat lunch early. It had to be said that this was Lin Xian's favorite taste. Regarding the matter of the crystal, even if they wanted to move it, it would be impossible to do so at this time. So Lin Xian was not in a hurry. Let's go back after eating, Linya said to Lin Xian, because she felt that she wouldn't be able to find anything. Lin Xian took a bite of the red braised pork and said with a smile, Why should we go back? A good show is about to start. What good show? Linya's beautiful eyes were full of doubts. Lin Xian smiled. Let's eat first. After eating, gather everyone. Oh right, especially that Huang Shiqiang and Director Chen. Linya looked at Lin Xian suspiciously, but she believed that Lin Xian wasn't playing around. It must have something to do with the crystal. Could it be that Lin Xian found evidence? Was it really possible? But if it wasn't like this, then how could it be explained? Lin Xian wanted her to gather those people naturally had something to do with the crystal. Although she was doubtful, Linya chose to listen to Lin Xian. The 2 of them quietly finished their meal. The employees were nearing the end of their work, and it would be mealtime in about 10 minutes. Then I'll go organize it. Linya looked at Lin Xian and said, Yes, organize to the parking lot outside. Lin Xian finished the last few bites and walked over. The employees had already gathered. Chief Lin, it's almost lunchtime. What's the matter? Huang Shiqiang looked at Lin Ye suspiciously. Nothing much. I just wanted to show everyone something. Lin Xian walked over with a smile. Look at things. Everyone was puzzled. This factory had 30 employees, so it wasn't considered small. Lin Xian clapped his hands and walked over to the cement board and squatted down. Everyone looked at him. Then they saw Lin Xian lift the cement board. At that moment, Huang Shiqiang, Chen Kaiwen, and Chen Kaiwen's pupil shrank. Everyone come and take a look. Everyone gathered here. Lin Ye also walked over. There's actually a cellar here? Everyone's jaws dropped. This is too mysterious. Who would build such a small cellar in a place like this? What's the use of it? It's still empty. Lin Ye seemed to have guessed something. Lin Xian then looked at Huang Shiqiang and asked, Director Huang, do you know about this small cellar? Huang Shiqiang's face was full of shock. Then, he quickly shook his head. I just found out. This is interesting. When the factory was built, this cellar wasn't built. Lin Xian smiled and said, Of course, this cellar has only been excavated for less than half a month. The cement slab above was originally normal ground, but it has been cut open. It looks like normal ground, but it has actually become the lid of this cellar. But what's this for? Someone asked doubtfully. Lin Xian smiled and said, What's it for? Of course, it's the place where Director Huang and Chen Kaiwen removed the crystal and switched it. Lin Ye understood Lin Xian's meaning, but there was nothing inside. So what if he said that? Although Huang Shiqiang and Chen Kaiwen were shocked that Lin Xian was able to find this place, they weren't afraid. Lin Xian, I admit that I have to bear some responsibility for this matter, but you directly put all the blame on me and Chen Kaiwen. That's not right, right? Huang Shiqiang said. Chen Kaiwen also nodded. That's right. The two of us are veterans of the company. We've been following Boss Lin ever since the company opened. Boss Lin has been very good to us. Why would we betray her and switch this batch of crystals worth tens of millions? Are we still human? Lin Ye slightly frowned. According to her understanding of Lin Xian, she wasn't that smart, so she panicked. Could it be that Lin Xian didn't do everything well? But when she thought about it, Lin Xian was indeed very different now. So as his sister, she chose to believe in Lin Xian. Yes, Director Lin has been very good to us. Director Huang has also been very good to us. It's impossible for them to do such a thing. I think we should consider this matter at length. Everyone was discussing. At this moment, Huang Shiqiang and Chen Kaiwen were standing at the peak of morality, while Lin Xian had become a person who slandered them and casually put a bucket of sh*t on their heads. Lin Xian didn't panic. The corner of his mouth curled up as he said, Everyone, don't worry. Come with me to a place. I asked everyone to come together, just to let you all be witnesses. Alright, bring 2 shovels. After saying that, Lin Xian walked out of the factory. The others looked at each other. They even thought that Lin Xian was playing with them like playing house. Follow him. It wasn't until Lin Ye gave the order to follow Lin Xian that those people followed. Lin Xian naturally brought them to the place where the crystals were buried. The closer they got, the more flustered Chen Kaiwen and Huang Shiqiang became. It can't be, right? They were already buried here. How could they be discovered? It can't be. This direction must be a coincidence. But why did he ask them to bring shovels? When they arrived at the spot, Lin Xian stopped. 1 meter in front of them was the place where the crystals were buried. Chen Kaiwen and Huang Shiqiang looked at each other. They even broke out in cold sweat. How could it be so coincidental? The place where the crystals were buried was right here. But when they looked at the surface of the soil, it didn't seem like it had been touched by outsiders. But Lin Xian stretched out his hand and said, Come, give me a shovel. After taking a shovel, Lin Xian started digging on the spot. Everyone was dumbfounded. When they saw Lin Xian digging the soil, which happened to be where they buried the crystals, the two of them suddenly trembled. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't know what Lin Xian was doing. Lin Ye said to another person, Help little Xian dig. Yes, Director Lin. It wasn't buried deep. After digging for about a meter, the alley was revealed. Director Lin, I think we dug up a treasure. What? Everyone gathered around with a dumbfounded look. Then the surface was wiped clean. Someone recognized it. Isn't this the box where the crystals are stored? It looks exactly the same. Linya walked over. She recognized the box at a glance. Then where did the box of crystals in our storeroom come from? I think we only have one. Lin Xian dug a few more times. Then, he suddenly used all his strength to carry the box that weighed more than 100 kilograms. Chapter 99. Almost everyone recognized it. It's true, it's exactly the same box. How could there be an identical box buried here? The box looks brand new. It doesn't look like it was buried a long time ago. It looks like it was buried a few days ago. Lin Xian walked over and directly opened the box. Inside were crystals of various colors. These crystals were all placed in small containers. Otherwise their power would be scattered. However, these containers could still allow the small amount of spiritual energy released by the crystals to leak out. When there were many crystals, this small amount of spiritual energy would be slightly larger. Lin Xian was also able to sense it because of this. Seeing the crystals, Linya's beautiful eyes lit up. There was no need to think. This was the batch of crystals that she had swapped. It's crystals. The clothes we used before didn't have any attributes. I heard that they were swapped. This wouldn't be the real batch of crystals, right? It must be. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? Also, the box is the same. It's still quite new. Then what's going on? Everyone was talking one after another. Lin Xian looked at Huang Shiqiang and Chen Kaiwen and said, "You two please explain." Huang Shiqiang said with certainty, "It's the batch that we swapped. It looks like there's someone among your employees who isn't clean. Who is the one who stands up and admits it? We'll be lenient." Right now he was filled with regret. If he had known earlier, he would have taken action earlier or transported it further away. Why did he have to bury it here? The main reason was that they hadn't found the next buyer yet. They were afraid that moving the box would be caught on camera. It wouldn't be good if they were found. So they hid it here and waited for the limelight to die down before taking it out to sell. But how could they have thought that Lin Xian would find it? How did he find it? Everyone looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Lin Xian coldly laughed. "Director Huang, don't push the blame to others. We're all villagers from nearby villages and are very simple. They wouldn't dare to do this kind of thing." Huang Shiqiang nodded and wiped the sweat from his forehead. You're right. Then who did it? Doesn't Manager Huang know?" Huang Shiqiang pretended to be stupid and shook his head. "How would I know? Anyway, this thief must be very cunning. Who said there's only one? Am I right, Director Chen?" Lin Xian looked at Chen Kaiwen mockingly. I don't know either." Chen Kaiwen gulped. Lin Xian then looked at everyone and said, "Let me tell you what happened." Then Lin Xian said, "That day, my sister drove factory manager Huang and director Chen to transport the crystals over. The car stopped at the entrance of the factory where we were just now. There were no cameras there. So my sister asked factory manager Huang and director Chen to move the box inside. Naturally, she didn't think too much about it and entered the factory first. At that time, factory manager Huang and director Chen opened the cement board that I opened just now and took out the box that contained the same number of crystals as the box. Of course, the crystals inside were all fake. So they took the opportunity to put the real box of crystals inside. If they were fast, 20 seconds would have been enough. Huang Shiqiang's face darkened as he pointed at Lin Xian and angrily said, "Lin Xian, don't think that you can say whatever you want just because you're Director Lin's brother. Do you have any proof?" Lin Xian smiled. "Don't be in such a hurry, I'll continue." Then, they moved the fake box in and hid the real box in here when it was safe. I'm guessing that they haven't found the next buyer yet, so they're waiting for the situation to blow over. As for the number of crystals in the box and the number of different attributes, my sister has already told you, right? So it's easy for you to swap the same number of crystals. Chen Kaiwen said, "Again, where's the proof?" Lin Xian chuckled and said, "Proof? It's simple." Then Lin Xian pointed at the box behind him and said, "This is the real box. and the fake box is in the storage room. It's simple. If you swap the real box, you would have to move the two boxes back and forth. So, whether it's this box or the box in the storage room, your fingerprints are on it. If it wasn't you, then there must be a box that doesn't have your fingerprints. So, we just need to ask an expert to identify it. Huang Shiqiang laughed and said, Okay, then we'll ask an expert to identify it. Of course they knew, because the two of them had swapped boxes back and forth. If both of them were found and had their fingerprints, then it would be direct evidence. For safety's sake, they really wiped it clean. Lin Xian laughed and said, You're not panicking, are you? You might only know about fingerprints, but there's something called DNA. This thing needs to be cleaned up with professional tools. For example, if a small piece of your skin is left on the box while you're moving such a heavy box, just a little bit of it will be left on the box. Or maybe some dandruff from your clothes will fall on the box. That can be found. Chen Kaiwen and Huang Shiqiang's pupils shrank. It seemed like it could be done. Now I'll give the two of you a chance. Admit it, and I'll be lenient on behalf of my sister. If you don't admit it, I'll ask an expert to identify it in person. Put when Lin Xian finished speaking, Huang Shiqiang couldn't take the pressure and knelt on the ground. Chief Lin, I really didn't do it on purpose. I beg you to give me a chance to atone for my sins. Huang Shiqiang was so scared that tears came out of his eyes. Seeing this, Chen Kaiwen didn't need to hide anymore. He knelt there like Huang Shiqiang. This was a fraud and theft case that involved tens of millions. Even if they went to jail, they would be ruined. Most importantly, they were just ordinary people. They had the system, but didn't have the guts to go out and farm monsters. These people could be punished by the law. The trial court was meant to punish warriors. The surrounding workers all had expressions of disbelief. It turned out that their boss was the mastermind behind this case. How despicable. These people should be executed by firing squad. Chief Lin treats us so well. Our salary is no less than 1,000 yuan higher than the other factory workers. Even so, they still want to cheat Chief Lin. Bah! Scum. Seeing this scene, Linya's heart still ached. Not for them, but for herself. These two people had been with her for a long time, and she treated her subordinates very well. She had never exploited them. Even so, they still betrayed her. Lin Xian's lips curled. Since you've admitted it, everyone can see it, right? Then, the two of you should prepare to spend the rest of your life in jail. Huang Shiqiang was stunned. With snot and tears he said, Young Master Lin, didn't you say that if we admit it, we'll be lenient? We admitted it. Please let us live. Lin Xian shrugged and said, Yes, I did say that. I said that I could represent my sister to be lenient. But sorry, I can't represent her. Chapter 100. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Huang Shiqiang and Chen Kaiwen were stunned. They had been tricked. You tricked us. Huang Shiqiang raised his head and glared at Lin Xian. Aha yeah. F***ck. Bastard. Go to hell. Huang Shiqiang suddenly got up from the ground. No one knew when he pulled out a dagger and directly stabbed at Lin Xian. Ah. At that moment, everyone couldn't help but scream. Linya subconsciously ran to Lin Xian to block it for him. But Lin Xian didn't dare let her block it. Linya's realm was so high that a mortal's body wouldn't be able to block it. Lin Xian reacted and blocked Linya with one hand. Then he kicked Huang Shiqiang, who had rushed over, and he fell to the ground and fainted. Little fairy, what are you doing? Lin Xian then grabbed Linya. Linya didn't know what to say. Don't you know that I'm a martial artist? I can still react this way, but what about you? What if you get hurt? Linya couldn't speak. Lin Xian obviously knew that Linya cared about him. He was very touched, but Lin Xian was scolding her. Why was this woman so stupid? Protecting him had completely become her conditioned reflex. She didn't even think about what level she was at. Lin Xian didn't blame her. He was just afraid. Then, Lin Xian glanced at the people behind him and said, Everyone, I'll leave these two to you for now. Bring them back to the factory, and call the police while you're at it. Then go eat. I'll take my sister to rest first. Okay. These were all very simple villagers. Of course they hated evil. Lin Xian brought Linya back to the factory and placed a bowl of soup in front of her. Little fairy, don't do this again in the future, okay? Lin Xian looked at Linya and said softly. He was afraid that something would happen to Linya, just like how Linya was afraid that something would happen to Lin Xian. I just didn't think too much about it. Linya was like a child who had done something wrong. She wasn't wrong, but Lin Xian didn't think it was right. If the roles were reversed, Lin Xian would be like this too. But didn't this prove that they cared a lot about each other? Okay. There won't be a next time. I will never let this happen again. I really like vegetable soup. Let's drink some soup, go to the police station to file a case, and then go home? Lin Xian said. Linya nodded. By the time they got home, it was already close to night. This matter had been satisfactorily concluded. Of course there were losses, but the crystal stones were found. This greatly reduced the losses. Now that the crystal stones were found, Linya would explain this matter to the citizens, and this matter would come to an end. As for those two people, they wouldn't be able to get out for at least 20 years. Their lives were already like this. They only had themselves to blame. There was no need to sympathize with them. Then, if the crystals were not found, who would feel sorry for Linya when she lost tens of millions of crystals? When they got home, Linya immediately prepared dinner for Lin Xian. While they were eating, Lin Xian said to Linya, "The academy is organizing a training trip to the demonic beast domain tomorrow. There will be a mentor accompanying me. I'm not sure when I'll be back, so you don't have to cook for me." When she heard that Lin Xian was going to the demonic beast domain, Linya was naturally worried. However, when she heard that it was a training trip with a mentor accompanying him, his safety should be guaranteed. She nodded and said, "Be careful." Of course. The next morning Lin Xian opened his eyes. He had cultivated Heavenly Thunder Flash for an entire night. His progress was faster last night. His Heavenly Thunder Flash had reached 40% completion. He estimated that he would be able to master it in 3 days. After eating breakfast prepared by Linya, he went to the Sky Marshal Court. The Sky Marshal Court's punishment had not been announced yet. They would have to wait until Lin Xian returned from the demonic beast domain training. The training trip usually lasted for a day. In other words, the punishment would be announced tomorrow. In fact, Lin Xian was not very worried. When he arrived at the beginner class, a few hundred people had already gathered at the entrance. Lin Xian's arrival immediately attracted the attention of the crowd. After all, Lin Xian was now a famous person. Ding! You have successfully made a young lady handsome. Scumbag value plus 10,000. Lin Xian. Damn it. Am I so charming now? I didn't do anything, but I can still make a young lady handsome just by walking over? Which young lady has fallen for me? Lin Xian, I bought you breakfast. When Lu Yufan saw Lin Xian, he jogged over and passed the breakfast to Lin Xian. Lin Xian was rather surprised by this. Don't misunderstand. I'm just thanking you for helping me. Lu Yufan blushed and ran away. Lin Xian rubbed his chin and muttered, "Can I try to confess now?" Ding! You have detected Yi Yi's jealousy. Scumbag value plus 10,000. Lin Xian. Lin Xian glanced at Yi Yi, who was not far away. Lu Yufan ran over and happened to be saying something to her. Is Lu Yufan jealous of Yi Yi for giving me breakfast? Damn it. Lin Xian really wanted to see how much Yi Yi liked him. However, he did not trigger Yi Yi's confession mission. Oh women! Look at how harmonious those two girls are. Look how happy they are. Actually, the other one is jealous. Lin Xian chuckled inwardly as he walked over. Wait! Lin Xian saw a girl in black casual clothes beside the group of people from class 10. She was sucking on a lollipop. Why is she here? Why is Ling Ying in class 10? Lin Xian braced himself and walked over. Glancing at the favorability rating, Ling Ying's favorability rating towards him was still at 10. Not more, not less. Senior sister, why are you here? Although the two of them had sparred before, there was no unhappiness between them. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and said, Freshman training. Each class will be led by a teacher. At the same time, there will be an arcane body realm cultivator from the advanced class accompanying them for safety reasons. So Ling Ying wants to go out with class 10. That's not bad. Who knows? I might be able to increase her favorability rating. Senior sister. I'm actually very curious about something. Lin Xian looked at Ling Ying and smiled. What is it? Lin Xian pointed at her lollipop and asked. Senior sister. Why do you like eating lollipops so much? Lin Xian glanced at her. Her lollipop wasn't anything special. It was just a very common lollipop. Yet she kept it in her mouth all day long. If not for the fact that she was a martial artist, this girl would definitely have diabetes. I'm just used to it. Ling Ying did not say much. I also have lollipops here. Senior sister, do you want some? Lin Xian grinned. And what flavor? Ling Ying asked curiously. Salty. It should be salty. Don't be ridiculous. How can there be salty lollipops? I really do have one. Lin Xian said. Let me see. Ling Ying reached out her hand to Lin Xian. There will be a chance in the future. Lin Xian laughed. Ling Ying really did not think wrongly. Was she too naive? Nonsense. How could this girl be naive? Chapter 101. At this moment, Xiao Runing walked over, and the students of class 10 quickly stood in position. Xiao Runing glanced at everyone with her beautiful eyes and said, For this training trip, each instructor will lead a class. I'll be leading class 10. Also everyone please welcome your senior Ling Ying. She's also one of the most powerful experts in the Sky Martial Court. This time, she'll be with me to ensure everyone's safety. Immediately, applause and cheers from the men rang out from the side. Ling Ying was the second most beautiful girl in the academy. Of course, everyone was excited. However, she usually walked around the academy more. As for Han Chuxue, the number one beauty, she rarely showed her face. Ling Ying nodded politely at everyone. Xiao Runing placed her handbag on the ground and took out some small glass beads from it. Then she said, These are the ice condensing beads that I asked someone to make. They are similar to a spirit tool. Its effect is to suddenly touch an object, and it will display the power of ice. It can freeze the room for a short period of time. Even if it can't freeze the room, it can slow down the speed of the object by a lot. Xiao Runing paused for a moment before she continued. There's a limited number of them. At the same time, I've also given them to the other classes. There are a total of 39 people in class 10. Now you have 3 minutes to find 2 companions. For the upcoming training trip, we'll be divided into classes. However, during the journey, you'll be in groups of 3 and follow the main group closely. You'll supervise, protect, and take care of each other. Now group yourselves. Lin Xian did not need to think too much. Before he could say anything, a group of people had already gathered around Lin Xian. This was because everyone had heard of Lin Xian's strength. He was very strong. It would be safer to be in his group. Lin Xian, can Yi and I be in your group? Lu Yufan and Yi Yi held hands. The 2 school beauties walked up to Lin Xian and looked at Lin Xian charmingly. When Lu Yufan asked this question, everyone knew that they had no chance. Just as they had guessed, Lin Xian naturally chose the 2 campus belles. Damn, wouldn't he be an idiot if he didn't choose beautiful girls? Could it be that she had to follow these 2 men? Since you bought breakfast for me, I'll reluctantly agree to your request. Yeah. Lu Yufan jumped 3 feet high. This was a world of difference from her previous attitude towards Lin Xian. Men. Miss Xiao, did you see that? This is a man. Ling Ying couldn't help but complain to Xiao Runing beside him. Xiao Runing couldn't help but laugh. It's normal. If you were to choose, one side is 2 very handsome men, and the other side is 2 women. Which one would you choose? Ling Ying licked his lollipop and was stumped. Anyway, I know that Han Chuxue will definitely choose women. She doesn't like men. Ling Ying changed the topic to Xiao Chuxue. Han Chuxue? Where's Han Chuxue? Lin Xian had appeared out of nowhere. Xiao Runing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian and said, With such a beautiful senior like Ling Ying here, you're still thinking about Han Chuxue? That's not the same. After all, she's the number 1 beauty in Tianhua Academy. Ding. Felt resentment from Ling Ying. The degree of resentment is quite high. Scumbag value plus 50,000. To talk about the number 1 beauty in front of the number 2 beauty, Any girl would have a lot of resentment, alright? Is that so? I'll bring Han Chushua to see you another day. How about that? Ling Ying's lips curled up into a devilish smile. That's good. Senior, you better be able to set me up with Han Chushua, hee. Oh, are you sure you're good enough for her? Ling Ying raised an eyebrow. Lin Xian shrugged and said, whether I'm good enough or not is another matter. But I feel that when she sees me, she will definitely fall in love with me. Alright, remember what you said. Ling Ying couldn't help but laugh. Let Han Chushua fall in love with Lin Xian? How could that be possible? There were many men who were many times more outstanding than Lin Xian. But Han Chushua wouldn't even look at them. Ling Ying knew her too well. Ling Ying even thought that this woman liked him, but she was completely cold. Then what if I managed to get Han Chushua? Lin Xian asked with a smile. If you can get her, I'll let you do whatever you want. How about that? Ling Ying glanced at Lin Xian. Are you sure? You can even have a 3P with me? Sure. Xiao Runing secretly rubbed her forehead. This young man, their conversation was simply too explicit. She was only 2 years older than Ling Ying. So why did she feel that the generation gap was a bit big? Then what if you can't get her? Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian. If I can't get her, then I'll let you do whatever you want. Alright, you said it. Miss Xiao, you be the witness. Xiao Runing helplessly nodded. Alright, then I'll be the witness. You're dead. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian proudly and said, the person who could get Han Chushua hadn't been born yet, and it wasn't certain. The person who was most likely to get her, the person who she couldn't forget, had already died at the hands of the Netherworld Flame Lion, let alone Lin Xian. There are still 20 days before the Tianwu conference. This is the deadline. Ling Ying added. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. It was just a casual bet. What was the big deal? Even if he lost, could this Ling Ying really do anything to him? Furthermore, even if he won, could she really go for a 3P? Lin Xian, what does a 3P mean? Lu Yufan came over and blinked her big eyes as she asked. This was the first time Yi had heard of this term, so she also looked over in confusion. Xiao Runing, Ling Ying, and Lin Xian were all stunned for a moment. How should I explain it? Lin Xian rubbed his chin and thought for a bit before saying, it's 3 people doing exercise together. Yeah, that's it. What kind of exercise? All kinds of postures and then moving around. It's mainly 3 people. Lin Xian said. Yi said at this time. Fan and I plus you, aren't we 3 people? Can we try a 3P now? PFFF. Lin Xian almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This wasn't what he said. Ding. 2 big sisters request to have a 3P with the host. It's really a scumbag act. Scumbag value plus 100,000. Lin Xian. Could this also increase his scumbag value? It was only 100,000. It didn't seem like much. But if it really happened, wouldn't it increase his scumbag value by a few million? After all, pinching a big sister's, but already gave him a scumbag value of a few 100,000. Xiao Runing felt that she couldn't chat with them anymore. God, the students these days were all too fierce. It wasn't that they were that pure. In fact, they were really pure. The 2 girls were indeed young misses from rich families. They had heard of some terms and understood them, so it was normal. However, there were some terms that they had never heard of before, so it was normal that they didn't understand. Chapter 102. Xiao Runing hurriedly said, Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Lin Xian, come over and collect the ice condensed pearls. Give 1 to each group. After that, Lin Xian distributed the ice condensed pearls, and everyone's groups were formed. Xiao Runing looked at everyone and said, the use of these ice condensed pearls is that if you are in danger and Ling Ying and I are unable to help you immediately, you can just throw them out. These were made from the deep freeze spirit crystals that Lin Xian had found. Of course, there were more than that, but they were all distributed to the other 9 classes. Therefore, only 3 people could form a group, and each group would get 1. Lin Xian's group's ice condensed pearls were given to Yi to hold onto. At the entrance of Tianhua Academy, several 54-seater buses were already parked there. After that, the 10 beginner classes boarded the buses one after another. The bus drove out of Tianhua City. The students were listening to music and chatting on the bus. In the front 2 seats, Lu Yufan and Yi Yi were playing games on their cell phones. Lin Xian and Ling Ying were sitting together. Lin Xian did not understand that it was Ling Ying who had chosen to sit together with them. However, the people behind them were extremely envious. Senior Ling Ying, you have already come out to lead the group. Why hasn't Han Chushua come out? Lin Xian asked. Ding. Detected resentment from Ling Ying. Scumbag value plus 10,000. Really? Although Ling Ying did not like Lin Xian, this guy kept talking about Han Chushua in front of her. She was not happy about it. She, Ling Ying, was a beauty that did not lose out to Han Chushua in terms of looks. Can't you be like a normal guy and flirt with her? Why must you keep talking about Han Chushua? Ling Ying did not seem to realize it himself. Was this considered jealousy? She is injured and is recuperating at home. Injured? Ling Ying said helplessly. The more serious injury is actually psychological. Don't tell me you saw the man you like cheating on you? Ling Ying, I will pass on your message to her word for word. Don't, I'm just kidding. You're deliberately making it harder for me to get her. Lin Xian said very seriously. Ling Ying laughed disdainfully. It's not that I look down on you, but now I've begun to think of a plan to deal with you. That's so troublesome. Take me for example. If I win, I'll bring you to the hotel directly. Once the room is opened, I'll just throw you on the bed. You still have to think about it. Ling Ying took a deep breath. She swore that this Lin Xian was the second man who dared to take liberties with her. She had already crippled the first man's limbs. But why didn't she feel any anger when Lin Xian took liberties with her? It was very strange. Ling Ying also felt it, so he felt it was very strange. But he couldn't figure it out. Lin Xian looked at Ling Ying's favorability level. It was still 10. How should he increase her favorability level? Lin Xian felt that it was a little strange to pick up other girls. He just felt that he couldn't do it. But he felt that with Ling Ying's devilish personality, Lin Xian didn't feel any guilt at all when he picked her up. He even felt that it would be great to get rid of her after he picked her up. Lin Xian also didn't understand why he felt this way. Perhaps it had something to do with the girl's personality? She was gentle and weak, so he couldn't bear to touch her. But a seductive girl like Ling Ying could? Perhaps it was because of this reason. Therefore, Lin Xian felt that Ling Ying might be his first target. At the same time, she might also be the most difficult. But she was the one Lin Xian wanted the most, and also the one who had the least psychological burden. But this favorability level was very difficult to increase. Speaking of which, if he made her shy, would he be able to increase her favorability level? I heard from Miss Xiao that you have an older sister? Ling Ying suddenly asked. That's right. Teacher Xiao also told you this. Ling Ying nodded. In private, Miss Xiao and I are good friends, and we talk about some things. She also told me some things about you. I just don't understand. You're flirting with pretty girls in school. Does your sister know? She doesn't know. Lin Xian shook his head. You don't dare to tell her? Ling Ying smiled. Lin Xian shrugged indifferently. What's there to be afraid of? I just don't want to tell her. You two aren't biological siblings, right? Lin Xian shook his head. Yeah, I guessed it. Usually, the younger brother wouldn't be afraid to tell his sister about this. Lin Xian glanced at the beautiful Ling Ying and asked, Senior Ling Ying, you know this very well? Do you have a younger brother? No. Then do you know the difference between a biological sister and a biological sister? Ling Ying naturally understood. So you have that kind of intention towards your sister. Men. Ling Ying said disdainfully. So you know. Lin Xian smiled and continued. Then do you know that biological younger brother, and biological younger brother actually have 3 meanings? Ling Ying really thought about it carefully. And then, suddenly there was a scream in the originally harmonious car. Everyone's eyes looked over. What's wrong? Xiao Runing in front looked over. Miss Xiao, I want to sit with you. This woman touched me. Lin Xian looked aggrieved. Ling Ying gritted her teeth. He actually dared to tease her. She suddenly thought of a certain meaning in Lin Xian's words, and couldn't help but punch Lin Xian. Sit down. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Ling Ying refused to let Lin Xian leave. Xiao Runing just shook her head. If they wanted to make trouble, then let them make trouble. I say, are you crazy? Lin Xian complained. Ding. Felt Ling Ying's anger. Scumbag value plus 20,000. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Ling Ying returned to normal. She glanced at him and didn't say anything. Then, she peeled a lollipop by herself. Ding. Ling Ying's favorability towards you +1. Lin Xian. No, Lin Xian really wanted to know what a woman's mind was like. She had clearly hit him just now, but her favorability towards him increased? So Lin Xian really didn't understand how to read a woman's mind. It was very simple. At first, Ling Ying thought in that direction. Naturally, she was angry because Lin Xian was teasing her. Then, she subconsciously hit Lin Xian, but she didn't use too much strength. But when she calmed down, she realized that Lin Xian was indeed a little different. Although she hit him just now and was a little angry, and even a little embarrassed, she didn't feel disgusted. This was why her favorability towards him didn't drop. Instead, because Lin Xian spoke to her in a special way, and even said that she was crazy, Ling Ying's curiosity was piqued. That's why a woman's mind wasn't easy to read. After a few seconds, Ling Ying glanced at Lin Xian, who kept rubbing his chest. Then she said faintly, "Don't you guys like girls hitting their chests with their fists? I'm just helping you massage it." Lin Xian. Big sister, you also said that she's a girl. Are you? Ling Ying. She glanced at Lin Xian, and the corners of her lips curled up. She regained her usual demonic charm. I am now. But if you can get Han Chuxue, then you have a chance to turn me into a woman. Lin Xian. Damn. This woman was indeed a seductress. She was teasing him. Chapter 103. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose and looked at Ling Ying. I'm confident that I can get her. So can we go ahead of time? What do you think? Ling Ying glanced at Lin Xian. I think it's not impossible. Chi. In front of them, Lu Yufan and Yi Yi were playing games with their headphones on, so they did not hear the conversation between Lin Xian and Lin Xian. After about an hour, they saw the barrier protecting Tianhua City. Then the 10 buses drove out together. Once they left, they would be completely unprotected. From now on, they would have to rely on themselves. Senior Ling Ying, where are we going to train? Lin Xian asked. They only knew that they were going to train, but they did not know where to go. The location of the training is different every time, but the content is almost the same. The students will have to fight with demonic beasts. Although the new students in the academy are all at the Qi building stage 5-star, most of them were brought up to this stage by someone else. They're only there to help. None of them have any combat experience. The most they can do in the Sky Martial Court is virtual combat, but it's not real combat. Ling Ying said. No wonder Miss Xiao said that I don't need to come. Lin Xian laughed awkwardly. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and said, you really don't need to come. First, your cultivation is high, and second, you have enough combat experience. What you need to do now should be an advanced dungeon. What we should do is to go to the depths of the demonic beast's territory to train. The beginner class's training is only for Qi building realm demonic beasts, so what are you here for? Lin Xian regretted that he did not ask about the training's content. He thought that it would be helpful to him, but he thought too much. Even if the group of Qi building realm 5-star students fought against Qi building realm 3-4- and 5-star demonic beasts, there would not be any powerful demonic beasts. Lin Xian really did not care about the experience of demonic beasts of that level. So what was he doing here? But it's okay for you to come. Just treat it as protecting everyone. Lin Xian pursed his lips. So the place we're going to is very close? Ling Ying nodded. About 3 kilometers. There's a chance we'll encounter quite a few spirit condensation demonic beasts in that location, but most of them are still Qi building. After chatting for a while, the car stopped. Lin Xian looked back. He could still see Tianhua City from here. They were about 1 kilometer away. In front, Xiao Runing looked at everyone and said, everyone get off the car. After you get off the car, stand in groups of 3. We'll walk forward from here. Lu Yufan and Yi Yi hadn't finished their game yet, so they could only hang up because they had more important things to do. Everyone got out of the car. Lin Xian, Yi Yi, and Lu Yufan stood together, while Ling Ying stood beside Xiao Runing. The other classes also got off the car around them. Xiao Runing looked at everyone and said, "From now on, we may encounter demonic beasts at every step, or even a group of demonic beasts. Everyone be vigilant. If it's a single demonic beast, we'll temporarily fight in groups of 3. Remember, safety first." Okay. Who? Lu Yufan and Yi Yi's faces were red. It wasn't because they were shy, but because they were excited and nervous. To be honest, they hadn't really fought with demonic beasts before. This time for them, and for everyone, it was an experience. Not only did they train their combat skills, but they also trained their mental strength. Okay, now follow me and Senior Ling Ying. Our training ground is in front of us. It's a small mountain forest. The terrain is difficult to walk in, so always pay attention to your feet. Let's go. Then, under the lead of Xiao Runing and the others, Class 10 walked forward. As for the other classes, they also went in different directions. There were already demonic beasts here, but Lin Xian and the others were in a group of dozens. Even if the demonic beasts saw them, they wouldn't dare to approach and would hide far away. Lin Xian, over there, over there. Yes. Then, the 3 of them nervously walked over. The long-armed demonic ape was a demonic beast with a very bad temper. As long as they didn't go over together with dozens of people, it wouldn't run away. Moreover, it was very easy to provoke it. This was their way of gaining experience. It was very rigid, but there was no other way. This was also the safest way. In fact, they were only allowed to fight with the demon beasts. Basically, when everyone fought, it would mean that this experience was over. Damn it. I'm sleepy. Lin Xian yawned at the side. This was also considered training, but thinking about it, it was indeed a training for them. 100 meters away, the 3 of them were fighting fiercely with the long-armed demonic ape. Their movements were very rigid, very simple, and very slow. But after all, it was 3 against 1, so they weren't at a disadvantage. Vajra Fist. Boom! The last attack was by a metal-type youth's martial skill that struck its head, and it was instantly killed. Yay! After personally killing the demonic beast, the youth revealed an extremely excited expression. Even Lin Xian's group of students were cheering for them. If I didn't come from Earth and didn't have that kind of experience, I would be as excited as them when I killed a demonic beast for the first time. Lin Xian smiled. So powerful. Yi Yi exclaimed. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. Alright, in their eyes, the so-called powerful was to kill a demonic beast. That was powerful. The 3 of them ran over excitedly. Xiao Runing nodded. And not bad. You guys go to the back and follow. The next demonic beast will be the turn of the next group. When each group is done, it will be a one-on-one battle with the demonic beast. You guys should be prepared. After that, they continued to walk forward. Along the way, many of them had undergone training. Basically, they were all scared but not in danger. After all, the demonic beast's levels were relatively low. Moreover, they were all 3 against 1. Under normal circumstances, there wouldn't be any danger. A small stream appeared in front of them. Beside it were still trees, but the location was still quite beautiful. Everyone take a break first, Xiao Runing said. Then everyone sat around and rested. After a few minutes, the bushes beside them suddenly moved. Lin Xian, there should be a demonic beast over there. Your group hasn't had any training yet. You take Yi Yi and Lu Yufan to deal with that demonic beast. Okay. After that they walked over. Chapter 104. Yi Yi and Lu Yufan were both very nervous. Girls were at a disadvantage in this aspect. They were the cowardly ones. Even if you put a demon beast in front of them for them to kill, they wouldn't dare. It's very simple. You just have to fight the demon beast like how you fought me before. Lin Xian said to Lu Yufan with a smile. Lu Yufan's pretty face turned slightly red as she recalled the scene of her unleashing her wood element in class and hurling her desk at Lin Xian. Lu Yufan was of the wood attribute, and Yi was of the water attribute. Both of them didn't belong to the combat attribute. Plus, their combat abilities weren't strong, so it was actually very difficult. They didn't dare to fight in close combat. The two girls were almost equivalent to mages in games, but they could still do it. With Lin Xian's help, it would be much easier. At least their safety wouldn't be an issue. Okay. Then, the three of them walked over under everyone's gaze. Many demon beasts would run away when they walked over. This was too common. But there were still many demon beasts that were very brave. Even if there were 3 of them, they wouldn't be afraid. As long as they didn't release a crushing aura, it would be fine. Roar! When they walked over, the bloodthirsty demon wolf jumped out from the bushes. It opened its bloody mouth and roared at Lin Xian and the other 2. Ah! Lu Yufan and Yi subconsciously hid behind Lin Xian. The 2 girls felt bitter in their hearts. Many of the demonic beasts that other people fought didn't look ferocious, but when it came to them, the demonic beasts would be scared to death just by looking at them. Chi building 5 stars not strong. I'll protect you. You two cooperate and fight. Lin Xian said as he patted their shoulders. Okay. Lu Yufan was the first to muster up her courage. Yi didn't show any weakness. The 2 girls took a step forward, and the attribute energy in their bodies surged. Lin Xian stood beside them to protect them. Whoosh! The bloodthirsty demon wolf opened its bloody mouth and rushed towards them. Tung Lin! Lu Yufan released his power, and vines suddenly appeared beneath the bloodthirsty demon wolf. The vines instantly controlled the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Alright, the group of people from class 10 at the back all cheered. At this moment, Yi's slender hands condensed a water bubble, and she threw it over with all her might. Bang! The bubbles exploded on the bloodthirsty demon wolf's body. Roar! The bloodthirsty demon wolf howled in pain. Its attack was weak, and could only cause external injuries. After all, this was Yi's very ordinary martial skill. I can't control it anymore. Lu Yufan's little face was about to break out in sweat. Continuous control also consumed spiritual energy value every second. Lin Xian said to Yi, you can try close combat, using your virtual combat style. With Lu Yufan controlling him, you don't have to worry too much. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Yi's pretty face revealed a trace of determination. Then her beautiful figure rushed over. Whoosh! She poured spiritual energy into her legs, jumped, and then swung her fist with all her might. Bang! Her fist steadily landed on the bloodthirsty demon wolf's body. The bloodthirsty demon wolf howled in pain again. Yi suddenly felt that she was very powerful, and her fighting spirit soared. At the back, Linging laughed and said to Xiao Runing, actually, they're all very strong, but they don't dare to fight. They don't dare to take the step to become strong. If they could, we humans would have many more experts. Xiao Runing nodded. That's right. 90% of students end up in the Qi building realm, or the spirit condensation realm. They have no hope of reaching the arcane body realm, because they don't dare. If everyone could be like you and Qin Xiaotian, not afraid of death for the sake of strength, immersing themselves in the Qi building realm from the Qi building realm, then we humans would be much stronger. With the current situation, it's already not bad for a class to have 5 arcane body realm cultivators in the future. Xiao Runing sighed. This was also one of the reasons why humans were gradually being nibbled away by demonic beasts. Linging laughed and said, actually, I was like them at the time, but I wasn't willing to be ordinary, so I strengthened myself little by little. They can all do it, they just lack the determination. On the other side, Yi pushed her hands forward, and a meter-thick water column rushed towards the bloodthirsty demon wolf. Boom! The bloodthirsty demon wolf was sent flying by the water column, and then Yi's aura rose. She had reached the Qi building realm 6 stars. Yay! The 2 girls acted as if they had done something big, hugging each other and jumping up and down happily. Lin Xian didn't even need to make a move. They didn't show weakness, they just didn't dare to fight. But with this experience, it gave them a lot of confidence. This was also an important reason why they came out to gain experience. It allowed each of them to bravely face the demonic beasts and take this step. The crowd behind them clapped and cheered. As the school's 2 beauties, They were naturally very popular. Lin Xian, Yi Yi and Lu Yufan ran in front of Lin Xian. The two girls had the urge to let Lin Xian praise them. Yi Yi didn't know why she had such thoughts, but she didn't seem to notice it. Great! Keep up the good work. Ding! Lu Yufan's favorability towards you +5. A single praise actually increased favorability by 5 points. Lin Xian was also very surprised. Alright, you guys come over, Xiao Runing said to Lin Xian and the others, and then the three of them walked over. Then Xiao Runing glanced at everyone and said, let's eat something first. In a while, we will have to fight the demonic beasts alone. This part is very dangerous. And there is even the risk of being killed by the demonic beasts if you aren't careful. Miss Xiao, I am of the water attribute, and my combat strength is very weak. Do I also have to fight the demonic beasts alone? A girl timidly asked. Xiao Runing then looked at her and asked, then did you see Yi Yi's battle just now? I saw it. Then you should have also seen how Yi Yi relied on martial arts and close combat to kill the bloodthirsty demon wolf, which was a relatively savage demonic beast. The water attribute also has combat strength. Of course, Lu Yufan's control is indispensable, but at the same time, the wood attribute also has combat strength. Moreover, don't forget, the attribute is only a way to increase your combat strength. In the future battles, you can't all rely on martial arts. The most important purpose of coming out to train is to let you use your body to fight the demonic beasts head-on. Xiao Runing paused for a moment before continuing. The divine system will increase our various attributes, including strength. Yu Qi building realm 5 stars. If you throw out a punch with all your strength, the strength will be enough to knock down a tree. This kind of strength is used on demonic beasts of the same level, and they will not be able to withstand it. As for the water attribute, it will only increase your combat strength, so use the strength of your body to fight. Although it is dangerous, if you want to become stronger, this is the only way. Speaking up to here, Xiao Runing's expression suddenly froze. Following that, Ling Ying and Lin Xian both revealed strange expressions. Chapter 105. The three people's reactions could only mean one thing. They must have felt the same uneasiness. Xiao Runing's realm was the highest, so she was the first to sense it. Ling Ying and Lin Xian were almost at the same time, and Lin Xian's realm was lower. This could only mean that Lin Xian's spirit attribute was about the same as Ling Ying's. This was also the effect of the spirit attribute. Divine sense range. The reason why the three of them had serious expressions was because they felt an extremely threatening aura. It was a feeling of danger. In the demonic beast domain, there was only one possibility for them to feel this way, and that was a powerful demonic beast. Not good. Xiao Runing felt that the aura was approaching them. She turned around and prepared to lead everyone away quickly. However, she was shocked to find that everyone around her had mysteriously disappeared. Lin Xian was also very shocked. He was still at his original position, but everyone in front of him had mysteriously disappeared right before his eyes. It was as if they had been teleported away. Lin Xian, where are you? Yi Yi and Lu Yufan's voices came from the side. Fan Fan, is that you? Yi, where are you? Lu Yufan Yi. This was Xiao Runing's voice. Then, everyone's voices suddenly rang out. They could only hear their voices, but they couldn't see them, and their voices were right next to them. Everyone, don't make a sound. Find a place to hide. This should be an illusion. Xiao Runing's voice rang out. Illusion. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Eye of Cave Spirit. When the Eye of Cave Spirit was activated, Lin Xian saw everyone. It really is an illusion. The Eye of Cave Spirit had the ability to see through illusions, so Lin Xian could see them. At this moment, everyone couldn't see each other. No matter how close they were, they could touch each other. Therefore, it was only an illusion. Lin Xian could feel that there was a very strong demonic beast not far away from them, and this illusion must have been released by that demonic beast. But why didn't this demonic beast come over? Was he going to watch them panic like clowns? This was something that no one had expected. This place was only 3 kilometers away from Tianhua City. How could a demonic beast of this level appear here? Was it a profound heaven realm beast? Because they heard Xiao Runing's words, everyone hid in places where they felt they could hide. They did not dare to move or make a sound. Lin Xian could see it, so he went directly to Xiao Runing and reached out to grab Xiao Runing's slender hand. Xiao Runing instinctively wanted to attack, but Lin Xian's voice rang out. Miss Xiao, it's me. Lin Xian. Xiao Runing touched the front with her hand. Ouch. Where did you touch? Lin Xian's face couldn't help but turn red. Bastard. Xiao Runing was about to go crazy. She actually managed to touch Lin Xian's little brother at a time like this. However, she didn't have the mood to think about it, nor did she have the mood to be shy. Lin Xian naturally didn't have the mood to tease her, although it felt pretty good. Lin Xian quickly said, Miss Xiao, I have a special martial technique that can see you guys through the illusion, but you guys can't see each other. What should we do now? Do you have a way? Although Xiao Runing couldn't see Lin Xian, she knew that Lin Xian was right in front of her. I didn't expect such a strong demonic beast to appear here. It should be at the high level of the profound heaven realm, infinitely close to the lightning tribulation realm. In other words, it should be a terrifying demonic beast close to level 50. Normally, it would be hard to find a demonic beast of this level within 100 kilometers of a human city. Xiao Runing also panicked. Then can you beat it? I can't. I can only do my best to block it, Lin Xian. Xiao Runing hesitated for a moment, then said, although I can't see it, I can feel it, and you can see it. Therefore, I will go and block that demonic beast to buy time for you. Lin Xian, I'll have to ask you to bring everyone back, quickly. Lin Xian frowned. But you? I'm fine. Bullshit, I'm fine. How could Lin Xian not know? Xiao Runing just said that she couldn't beat it, and could only block it. In other words, she was going to die to buy time for them to escape. Xiao Runing froze for a moment. I'm a teacher. Xiao Runing gritted her teeth and said, then continued. You guys must go back. This matter is not normal. You must inform the 3 major powers. I'm afraid that Tianhua City will be destroyed. There's a way. There must be a way. Lin Xian secretly clenched his fists. At this moment Ling Ying walked over. She handed Lin Xian and Xiao Runing a lollipop each. Suck it. Ling Ying could see them. Lin Xian and Xiao Runing looked at Ling Ying in surprise. Ling Ying then said, this is specially made. After eating it, your eyes will temporarily have the ability to see. Hurry. Lin Xian. It seemed that Ling Ying's lollipops were not just snacks. I don't need it, I can see it. Lin Xian said. Although Ling Ying was surprised, she did not say anything. After Xiao Runing ate it, she could indeed see everyone. She then looked at Ling Ying and said, Ling Ying, I'll leave them to you. You must return safely. Ling Ying shook her head. It's useless. That's a demonic beast close to the thunder tribulation realm. We can't escape. I can block it. Xiao Runing emphasized. Miss Xiao, that demonic beast is not coming over because it's playing with us. It can instantly kill all of us, including you. We can't block it. Ling Ying sighed and said, in a battle of this level, she would not be able to help, and the strongest among them was Xiao Runing. However, Xiao Runing was also in the mysterious heaven realm, while that monstrous beast was very close to the thunder tribulation realm. In other words, it was definitely much stronger than Xiao Runing. Even if Xiao Runing had a strong martial skill, in fact, it would be useless. At this realm, in a battle between a demonic beast and a human of the same level, a demonic beast could fight against 3 human warriors. It was not that humans were too weak, but rather that demonic beasts were too strong. Demonic beasts' physiques and abilities were much stronger than human warriors. This was the most difficult part. There was no need to talk about low-level demonic beasts fighting high-level demonic beasts. That was even more difficult. However, this was not absolute. Some very strong human warriors could indeed fight demonic beasts beyond their realm. For example, Lin Xian could also do it. Their combat ability was very strong, and their martial skills were also very strong. However, Ling Ying knew about Xiao Runing's realm. This demonic beast was close to the thunder tribulation realm. There was indeed a slight chance, but it was too difficult. You guys go and take the others away. I'll block it here. After saying that, a white light sword appeared in Xiao Runing's hand. The aura on her body suddenly erupted, and the surrounding ground was covered with frost. Puff! At this moment, Xiao Runing actually spat out a mouthful of blood without warning. Miss Xiao. The two of them were shocked and quickly supported her. Xiao Runing revealed a shocked expression. This demonic beast is a high-level thunder tribulation realm. Chapter 106. Upon hearing Xiao Runing's words, Lin Xian and Ling Ying revealed expressions of disbelief. If it was a mystic heaven realm beast, Xiao Runing might have a slight chance of blocking it, since they were in the same realm after all. However, if the other party's demonic beast was in the thunder tribulation realm, then it was impossible. Blocking it was impossible even if it was a one-star thunder tribulation realm beast. After all, there was a huge gap between the two realms. The higher the level, the greater the gap of 1 star, let alone the gap of a whole realm. Moreover, this was an advanced thunder tribulation realm beast, which meant that it was more than 10 stars higher than Xiao Runing. It was already difficult to be 1 or 2 stars higher, let alone a whole realm with more than 10 stars. Therefore, Xiao Runing directly spat out a mouthful of blood. They didn't even see the demonic beast. That was because the demonic beast sensed Xiao Runing's resistance from afar, and directly released its power to lock onto Xiao Runing, causing Xiao Runing to be injured. It wasn't that the demonic beast was too strong, but the gap between the two realms was too big. No one would have thought that a demonic beast of this level would appear in such a place. This time, it was all over. I thought that even if I died, I might die in a hardy battle in the future. I didn't expect to die in such a humiliating manner. I didn't even have the chance to fight back. Ling Ying laughed self-deprecatingly. At this moment, the illusion seemed to have disappeared. Everyone could see each other. Everyone gathered around Xiao Runing and the others in fear. Lin Xian, Yi Yi and Lu Yufan subconsciously approached Lin Xian. They were very flustered, but they didn't know what had happened. Perhaps this was something worth rejoicing over. If they let this group of students know that the one who released the illusion was actually an invincible demonic beast in the thunder tribulation realm, or even the law realm, many of them would probably collapse directly. But now that the demonic beast had removed the illusion, what was it trying to do? If the release of the illusion was to make them feel despair, did the removal of the illusion mean that it was coming? Demonic beasts at this level had extremely high intelligence. Demonic beasts at the mystic heaven realm had the intelligence of teenagers, and lightning tribulation realm demonic beasts had the intelligence of a normal person. After reaching the law realm, some demonic beasts with higher bloodlines or more special demonic beasts could even take human form. Therefore, this demonic beast was extremely terrifying. Xiao Runing stood up, her beautiful eyes flashing with a trace of unswerving determination. As a teacher, she should be responsible for these people. Even though she knew that this demonic beast was in the thunder tribulation realm, she still wanted to fight to the death. Miss Xiao, since it's so close, our Tianhua City's experts should be able to sense it, right? Ling Ying said. Xiao Runing said, I'm afraid it's useless even if they can sense it. There might be Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses in Tianhua City, but I'm not sure if there are high-level Thunder Retribution Realm martial artists who are close to the law realm. The people who come can't do anything to this demonic beast. At this moment, everyone's pupils shrank. In front of them, a demonic beast passed through the forest in front of them and fell into their line of sight. It was a dark blue tiger that was even black. To be precise, it was twice the size of a normal tiger. There was even a circle of black light lingering around its body. Moreover, it actually had 2 heads. The aura on its body was extremely terrifying. What kind of monster is that? Someone pointed at the demonic beast with a terrified expression. I've never seen it before. This aura, this feeling, this is definitely a demonic beast of a level that we've never seen before. How is this possible? This place is only 3 to 4 kilometers away from Tianhua City. How could a demonic beast of this level appear in this location? Whoa. There were even some people who simply saw this scene and directly cried. They were all ordinary martial artists, and each of them had at most fought with demonic beasts of a few stars in the chi-building realm. Facing such a demonic beast, it was normal for them to be scared to the point of crying. Evil-eyed double-headed tiger. Seeing the demonic beast, Ling Ying, Xiao Runing and the rest's pupils shrank. If it was before because of the existence of the illusion, Xiao Runing might not be able to block it. Perhaps they would all die here. But now, if they split up and ran, Xiao Runing only needed to buy some time. And perhaps some of them would be able to escape. Ling Ying, I'll block it. Hurry up and bring everyone out. Xiao Runing hurriedly said to Ling Ying beside her. Miss Xiao. Ling Ying naturally knew that he would definitely not be able to block it. This was a high-level thunder tribulation realm. Quick. However, at this moment, the evil-eyed double-headed tiger roared, and a barrier formed around them. It's over. Seeing this scene, Xiao Runing's face turned ashen. This barrier was clearly capable of trapping them. This evil-eyed double-headed tiger wanted to slowly trample them to death, and then eat them. This was this kind of demonic beast. Ling Ying, bring some people and try to break the barrier. I'll block it. After saying that, Xiao Runing charged forward. Ice-sealing world. The surrounding ground, rocks and trees were all sealed in ice. At this moment, it was as if the surroundings had entered a world of ice and snow. Even if Lin Xian did not use his perception, just by looking at this phenomenon, he knew how powerful this martial technique was. Although Ling Ying felt that it was not possible, she still turned and charged towards the barrier, attacking with all her might. The barrier did not budge. It's over. She did not have the ability to break the barrier. Lin Xian frowned as he looked in front of him. That evil-eyed double-headed tiger was actually sealed in ice by Xiao Runing. Could Xiao Runing really be able to block it? Everyone who saw this scene was thinking the same thing. Lin Xian, what should we do? Lu Yufan and Yi Yi grabbed Lin Xian's sleeves tightly, as if Lin Xian had become their spiritual support. Lin Xian sighed. What could he do? He was also thinking. But in the next moment, everyone's pupils shrank. The ice cracked. It really can't trap it. Lin Xian sighed. Bang! A terrifying power erupted from the evil-eyed double-headed tiger. Whoosh! Beside him, Ling Ying rushed forward. She had no way to break the barrier, so she could only help Xiao Runing fight. As if a wormhole had appeared in front of them, Ling Ying appeared directly above the evil-eyed double-headed tiger's head and stabbed with her dagger. But the difference in strength was too great. She could not hurt it at all. The terrifying power was released again. Lin Xian's pupils shrank, and he instantly released all his strength to block in front of Yi Yi and Lu Yufan. In the next moment, all the students were sent flying and smashed onto the ground. Perhaps it was not fatal, but it was very fatal to their minds. Thump! Xiao Runing and Ling Ying's figures landed beside Lin Xian. Pfft! Xiao Runing spat out a mouthful of blood. Ling Ying was a little better. Her speed was extremely fast, and she managed to dodge most of the power. But the evil-eyed double-headed tiger did not want to kill them directly, but wanted to slowly torture them. Otherwise everyone, including Xiao Runing, would have died. Chapter 107. Over 10 levels. At this level, the difference of one level was already huge. Over 10 levels, especially when it was a big realm. Even if Xiao Runing had a heaven-tier martial skill, it was useless. The difference in strength was too big. Wah! Seeing that Xiao Runing couldn't block it, many people started crying again. Roar! The evil-eyed two-headed tiger roared again and charged over. Ah! Everyone screamed in horror. Even though Xiao Runing was injured, even though she wasn't weak, she still charged forward again. Lin Xian looked at the battle in front of him, thinking about something. Maybe he was wrong because he had the ability to protect everyone. But he hid it from them. Now he couldn't hide it anymore. If he hid it any longer, Xiao Runing would die in battle, and everyone would die. Lin Xian admitted that he wasn't a good person, but he wasn't someone who would let women fight to the death in front of him. Maybe he had the scumbag system, and wanted to walk the path of a scumbag. But he wasn't one yet. Senior Ling Ying, does this barrier have the ability to isolate space? Lin Xian quickly asked. Ling Ying didn't look too good. She must have suffered some internal injuries. She shook her head slightly and said, "This is just a layer of energy barrier. We can't break it with our strength." "Then it's fine." Lin Xian then took a deep breath. Release the space attribute. Space jump. Ding. Confirm release of space attribute strength. Everyone. Ding. Confirm release of target. Everyone. Ding. Confirm teleportation location. Tianhua City, 3 kilometers away. Ding. Insufficient strength to teleport. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. 2 kilometers. Ding. Insufficient strength to teleport. 1 kilometer. Ding. Insufficient strength. Lin Xian secretly clenched his fists. System, calculate the furthest teleportation distance for everyone. Calculation complete. Furthest teleportation distance is 300 meters. With Lin Xian's 1-star arcane body realm cultivation, he was able to teleport 39 people, including Xiao Runing and Ling Ying, 300 meters away. Can you go any further? 300 meters. 300 meters is but the distance of a lightning tribulation realm demon beast. Ding. Estimated calculation time, 20 seconds. Ding. Since the host is the source of the power, the host will need to consume more space energy. If the host is not teleported, the host can teleport everyone to a distance of 1,000 meters. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Why didn't he send him away? Then wouldn't he die? Lin Xian admitted that he was not a saint. He could save Xiao Runing, Ling Ying, Lu Yufan and Yi Yi. As for whether the others lived or died, did it have anything to do with him? Why would he exchange his life for theirs? Help me calculate how many people I can bring with me during the space jump. Ding. Estimated calculation time, 30 seconds. Bang. Xiao Runing's figure fell in front of Lin Xian. Miss Xiao. Poof. Xiao Runing was covered in blood and seriously injured. Ling Ying. Hurry up and attack the barrier. Xiao Runing gave a loud shout, clenching her teeth as she got up and tried to rush up. She wanted to save Ling Ying too, but she couldn't. Lin Xian looked at this scene in a daze. Why? Shouldn't the warriors of this era be selfish? She would rather sacrifice herself to help others? 30 seconds. She couldn't hold on any longer. Everyone stand beside me. Lin Xian suddenly shouted. Everyone didn't understand, but they subconsciously came to Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Space jump. Xiao Runing and the others' confusion turned into shock. They disappeared. There was no time to calculate. Lin Xian didn't dare to waste time calculating. He also didn't dare to send everyone away without calculating. What if they could only teleport a short distance? If he used his only enhanced spatial power for nothing, they still wouldn't be able to escape. Everyone would still die. Therefore, Lin Xian chose to send everyone a kilometer away, while he stayed here. Perhaps Xiao Runing's words and actions had moved Lin Xian. Or perhaps, Lin Xian had thought of a way out for himself. Then, Lin Xian faced the evil-eyed twin-headed tiger directly. The evil-eyed twin-headed tiger suddenly realized that the prey it was playing with had disappeared. Then it let out an angry roar. At this moment, everyone looked at each other because they realized that they were very close to the bus. What's going on? Why? Why are we suddenly here? Space attribute. Space jump. Xiao Runing staggered and almost fell to the ground. Ling Ying quickly supported her. It's Lin Xian. He has the space attribute. He sent us out. But where's Lin Xian? Everyone looked around but didn't see Lin Xian. Everyone, hurry back to Tianhua City. After saying that, Xiao Runing wanted to rush back again. Miss Xiao, there's no point in going back. Ling Ying grabbed Xiao Runing and shouted, I can't let my student die for me. Xiao Runing's beautiful eyes were filled with tears. Wah! Lin Xian. Lu Yufan broke down and cried. Ling Ying clenched her fists. Then, with a karate chop, she knocked out Xiao Runing, who had just broken free from her hand, and was about to rush back to save Lin Xian. Ling Ying knew that Xiao Runing would die if she went back. Then she looked at everyone and said, Inform the other teachers and students to hurry back. Also protect Miss Xiao. After saying that, Ling Ying wanted to leave. Senior Ling Ying, are you going to save Lin Xian? Yi Yi wiped her tears and looked at Ling Ying. Ling Ying paused, then sighed softly. There's already signal here. Contact the other students and teachers and hurry back. I'm just helping Miss Xiao complete what she wants to do. After saying that, Ling Ying rushed forward. Right now, it didn't matter whether Lin Xian had the spatial attribute or not. The most important thing was Lin Xian's safety. Ling Ying knew that she was going to die. She also knew that even if she rushed over, Lin Xian would already be dead. But she had to go. Even if she was stupid, she still had to go. This was Xiao Runing's last wish. It was also Ling Ying's wish. She knew that Lin Xian didn't come out himself, because he didn't have enough strength to support himself. For such a young boy, his spatial attribute was already heaven-defying. He could even send 40 of them 1,000 meters away. This was simply inconceivable. Even if she died, at least she did something. Lin Xian stayed behind because he still had some confidence. This was because he had other attributes that could only be used once. However, they could be very powerful. For example, the spatial attribute. Normally, even those masters of the spatial attribute could barely reach the level that Lin Xian had just done after cultivating for decades. However, because it could only be used once, and its effects were enhanced, Lin Xian could do it. Then what about the others? Of course. Roar! The evil-eyed twin-headed tiger suddenly saw so many of its prey disappear. It was furious. And when it saw Lin Xian in front of it, it naturally vented all its anger on Lin Xian. Earth Wall! Lin Xian roared angrily and released his earth attribute power. The earth wall rose up and trapped the evil-eyed twin-headed tiger inside. Lin Xian naturally didn't want to trap it, because it couldn't be trapped. What he wanted to do was to temporarily block the evil-eyed twin-headed tiger's line of sight. Even if it was only for an instant, it was enough. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.